This is Infection, the survival podcast, recorded live on Tuesday, April 30th, 2019, episode 224. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Infection, the survival podcast. Infection is your source for the latest information on survival video games. We bring you the latest news, reviews, updates, and more each and every week. My name is Nick Craig. You can follow me on Twitter at Nicholas M. Craig. And the host of the show, let me introduce you to him, Brian with an I Aldridge, who is the host of the program. I'm not trying to talk down to him. I'm not trying to indicate that he is some lesser being because I say, and joining me. So the host of the show, Brian.
They'll be ordering you to do something now every week.
Brian Aldridge is here. He is the host. Brian, just tell me exactly how you'd what
All
you'd
right,
like
director,
to do.
cut to a single shot.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, so if you want to find me at Voice Computer on Twitter, of course, my blog, biteoftech.com, and I actually added a new post there, Nick. You should be proud of me.
Oh my God, hold on.
So something has changed on my blog in the past year. But yeah, if you want to check that out, biteoftech.com, as well as our website. If you check out infectionpodcast.com, we have on there links to all the different episodes that we've done, show notes for each of those, which has videos and just change logs and a bunch of different things for all now 224 episodes that we're doing today. We have on there our Discord server. If you want to join that, there's a button on the upper right hand side that says join our server on Discord. It's a free app. It's really easy to use, mobile, web-based. It also has a desktop app. I mean, whatever you want to use, it's really easy to use, and it's free. We have a news channel you can submit news to throughout the week. That's really useful for us. We have our Steam group. If you want to get a little notification before the live show starts, you happen to be at your computer at that time, you can just join our server group for Steam, and it will just do one notification usually. Sometimes Steam is weird and does two, but that should be about it. And I think that's pretty much all the self-promotion. I'll remember to do again at the end of the show, but that's it for now.
You want to talk about anything that you're working on, or just tell people to go to your website?
If you're interested in game development,
yeah,
I've been doing a YouTube series, a tutorial series that goes through some of the more difficult things, integrations. I'm trying to highlight Unreal Marketplace assets.
Okay. Because
a lot of people that are new to game development, they'll buy these assets and then they look at them and say, now what? They don't know what to do. And so some of the important things, even something like backing up your work that you're doing, people don't want to pay for a service to do that. And so I did one on using a service or technology called SVN, which will do incremental backups, similar to GitHub, little things like that. So that as you make changes, you can do a backup. If it totally breaks everything, you can roll back right before that. And so little things like that help people to be able to experiment and play around, because no one knows how to do it the first time they're trying. So
where can people find the links to that besides our show notes on the website?
So if you go to, one thing you could go to is youtube.com/C/Brian Aldridge. That's my YouTube channel. Okay. And on there, I have a link to the Discord server, so you can get an invite if you want to be a part of that. If you're interested in game development, and specifically Unreal, because I'm not doing anything on Unity, but we have a lot of developers in that Discord that can answer questions, and we just kind of, if we're doing something new, we'll show each other how we did something. It's just very useful. You'll find if you're in game development and you go to the Unreal's kind of official and unofficial Discord, it's almost impossible to get an answer for anything. There's so many people in there that you'll send a message and it just won't get answered, because everyone's ignored that Discord because there's just so many messages constantly coming through on it.
Gotcha.
So the agreement says add my competition for the check mark there.
Yes.
I gave him encouraging words, and then what's he do to me? I prop him up on Twitter, and that's what I get.
You know, Brian, I realized we started on time. We started early today, but I realized we didn't discuss before the show like normal. What are we gonna do for game of the week? So we in one respect outkicked the coverage. We did a great job. but now
Yeah.
we have failed miserably on our game. What we're gonna do for
We
Game of the
rushed
Week?
so much
Yeah, we weren't rushing.
going
We were
into
just
it.
like we just didn't talk about it. So what's what are you?
Well,
What are your thoughts?
how about let's put it out to our viewers right now as far as in the chat, and let's have them submit some stuff to us. And before, let's say halfway through the show,
Okay.
we'll kind of look at the discussion and see what they're interested in playing, and then we'll announce it halfway through. So if people are coming in just to hear what we're going to play for Game of the Week, they're going to have to wait and listen for half of a show.
Well, unfortunately, I do want to thank a couple of people, including Valp1 and our friend It's Judd for hitting us up with the resubscriptions, guys. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. And it obviously will coming up very soon, actually. It will be our trip out to the Pacific Northwest to PAX West 2019.
Great land of Seattle.
Yes. So
very interesting place to visit.
that's for sure.
Very fun.
So we'll have a good time out there. So thanks for all of that. All right.
I've been trying to get Joe to come over, fly over, and I told him he could stay with Sean and bunk with him, but he's not going for it. So we'll keep trying.
Yeah, we'll work on that. Brian, let's do first things first. It's not on the show notes, but I do want to talk about it because it has spun some drama up. Did you watch this trailer for the new Sonic the Hedgehog movie?
Yes, I did.
What were your thoughts?
I never played the originals. It just seems odd. I don't know if he's breaking any weird Sonic rules.
Yeah, he looks.
But it's just kind of a weird,
awful.
It's just kind of a weird looking animation. The thing is when you're trying to do something that's so iconic. I mean, in their minds, you're taking this from an old video game where people back in the day when you actually had to use your imagination, and in your mind you have a view of what Sonic looked like compared to what you're looking at.
Well, you knew exactly. He looked like a cartoon wheel ball that spins. I mean, that's what it was.
But the thing is, they've taken that and they've tried to put it, rather than doing a extremely cartoony thing in a real world or doing the whole thing as animation, they've done this kind of halfway realism that just makes him look kind of like a creep. I mean,
I don't know what the hell I'm looking at when I watch this trailer.
No.
I don't even know what I'm looking at. Jim Carrey plays Dr. Robotnik. It makes no sense that Dr. Robotnik doesn't know who or what Sonic is. Sonic is somehow knocking out the power systems it doesn't make any sense.
I mean, is Sonic built on electricity? Like it seems like he is electricity.
No,
I just never gathered that from the original games that he was.
I don't think he's built on electricity. He's built on speed. I mean, maybe.
But the thing is, you look at him. He's like shocking people with these.
Yeah, I think
things that shoot out of him that are like electric.
I am a big Sonic fan. I will say, I really do. It's probably, if not my first, my second favorite franchise of gaming. I really like Sonic games, and I saw this trailer and I was like, what the, my reaction was, what the actual hell is this trailer? Yeah. And, yeah, Jim Carrey is it looks like a very cheaply produced film, and it's not. It's a Paramount Pictures film. I mean, this is this is like one of the biggest movie companies in the world that's doing this. It looks like something.
What audience are they going for in this? Because you got to think, the kids are probably less of the audience. There's still Sonic stuff here and there, but they should be going for the mid-20s to mid-30s, upper 30s, for the people that played this originally on the Sega. And I just think that they're not playing to that audience. They should have done either something that was more serious and not just, it looks, as you said, cheap.
This is what Dr. Robotnik actually looks like. This is what he's always looked like in all the games. Dr. Eggman, he's a big fat guy that's presumably really rich and has a bunch of cool machines. This is how they depict him in the movie. Is Jim Carrey. It makes no sense.
The thing is, it looks nothing like him. They should have almost gone with kind of a CGI, either done something that was more highly CGI and gotten some of those iconic characters in there, or just gone animated.
I'll tell you this, and then we can have the conversation. Just watching the trailer, the plot of the movie doesn't make any sense because Dr. Robotnik is working with the government to track down what is causing these electricity issues, and it's Sonic. He already knows who Sonic is. That doesn't make any sense. He is part of this. He's like, whatever this blue mass is, we are going to find out. He knows what Sonic is. It doesn't make any sense. And it really frustrates me because I have said this 1,000 times. I actually was talking about this with Green Man this weekend. We have not seen one decent video game to movie adaptation. They have all sucked royally. Brian, there's not even been one that's close. The Assassin's Creed movies, they've all sucked. There's never been a good one. How is that possible? That not a single video game has been able to transition into the big screen. They've all been garbage. This Pikachu movie looks like it's going to suck too, because they did the same thing with Pikachu. He looks just like Sonic. This weird, like, fur CGI thing. I don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to think of any of them that were good. That was like, that really extended the thing that they want to do is extend the lore and the story and the joy that you get from the game and build on that out to a movie. And they tried to do that with World of Warcraft.
Didn't work.
And I never even finished the movie. So it just, they can't capture it. I think that the games are so different. I think that the movies need to come closer to a game than games going to a movie. I think that you have a hard time when you have something that's interactive and you feel like you're actually a part of it too. I'm just watching it on a screen and I have no interaction.
Well, it's got 6.5 million views on YouTube, on Paramount Pictures YouTube channel. And the like to dislike ratio is not great. It's got 162,000 dislikes and 115 likes. So
yeah, that's not good.
No, not good. But it is #1 trending on YouTube. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, if you're a Sonic fan, get ready to be disappointed because it ain't gonna happen. You know, I'm still waiting on the Ratchet and Clank movie.
But the thing is, how are you going to do that with actual actors? I mean, they just got to do animated. The thing is, if you're going to do
that movie and it sucked.
Cartoon game,
I watched it. It was garbage.
Yeah, I think they struggle trying to bring it over and change the media that it's on. Yeah. It just doesn't work. So, well, sorry. I know that you're looking forward to that.
I can't. I don't understand it, Brian.
Well,
I don't understand how they all
screenshots
suck.
we saw originally, and where people like, no, that's got to be like a fake.
Well, like
Sonic.
2 days ago, pictures of Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik started floating on Reddit, and everybody's like, "Oh, this is so funny. This is a funny joke." And then it was actually in the trailer. And people are like, "Oh shit, this is not what we were hoping for."
Well, and that one especially, like they missed the mark so heavily because all those things, when you view that cartoon version of him, there's very distinct characteristics that in your mind you're seeing. First of all, the mustache.
Yeah, big mustache.
Big mustache, and then he's got this big round body.
He's
that's
fat
like a
in every single
cannonball.
game. He is. He literally looks like a ball. He's an egg.
Yep, and then there's his glasses, just all these, and then he has a pair of goggles on top of that, and it's all very distinct things. And you look at Jim Carrey's photo, and there's nothing really. They put a mustache on him, but he looks like
Dr. Disrespect.
I mean, it's just I mean, he's a hipster. That's all he is. And his jacket. Look at his suit. He's just wearing a suit that you'd go to dinner in. Yeah. I mean, but they did put a lot of bright, fancy, futuristic computer stuff around him.
Oh yeah, as every movie ever. Yes. Yeah. All right, let's move on. But there you go. So another awful movie game show, TV or game to movie / TV show adaptation that's gonna suck. So
what do you think? Recently they've been doing, so they did one where you actually play on Netflix. You're kind of doing an interactive game. Remember we discussed that?
Yes.
I think we discussed the original one that came out. They've done another one, but it's with that Bear. Who's the survivalist?
Bear Grylls.
Bear Grylls. Mm-hmm. So they have like an interactive survival one, and I haven't done it yet because I was wanting to do it with Laura.
That's cool.
But it's like an interactive. You have to make decisions to see if you would survive through the show. So it seems like it's kind of like that other one, but different twist. That's kind of a clunky way to do it. I mean, you got to think of how they're working with Netflix on all kinds of different devices, and they have to make it work on these TV machines that have pretty much no CPU. But I think the future is still making interactive movies. I think that's going to where it's going to start aiming towards that, to where you have kind of that choose your adventure, but it's much more interactive. Like you're somehow in the movie, seeing it from a perspective where you have VR headsets.
Yes. And speaking of VR headsets, Brian.
Yeah, you like that?
Yeah. Well, I don't think that was your intent, but I got an email today. We're on a because we're such a big deal, we're on we're on a lot of important email lists, and got an email today from Valve, and you don't get emails from the Valve press list. They don't really do
very
it
often.
Yeah, it's like the last time I think we got one was when they announced their stupid card game, and I don't believe we've seen one since. And originally I thought it was a misprint because it was like Valve Index. I was like, oh, they sent out a error email, so sent out a faulty email or whatever. But no, they have introduced a full VR setup that they are calling Index. So it is called Valve Index, and it is available to pre-order here in less than 24 hours. It'll be available tomorrow to pre-order. So I'll scroll through some pictures here. But what are your initial impressions on this, Brian, from Valve, which is a very interesting take?
Yeah, my first concern is just the price. The price is a pretty steep. I mean, $1,000. So first of all, they've got these base stations that can sense where you're at, and they have the hand controllers, which I mean, they look. I'm sure they put a lot of tech into that, because that's the thing, is they want it to be a better experience than probably whatever the existing one has been. And then this headset, I'm sure the stats on it are very good, but $1,000, you're pretty much buying. I mean, that's the equivalent of a gaming PC.
And I know it's not necessarily,
and it requires a PC.
Yes.
Still.
And this isn't the best comparison, because I know the prices have come down as of late, but you can go on Amazon right now and purchase a full HTC Vive, which comes with the 2 sensors, the 2 little paddle controller things that it comes with, and the virtual reality headset for $500. Now, I understand this product is new. Their big claim is that their controllers are really revolutionary, because I mean, the goggles themselves you can do things with, but at the end of the day, you're putting a screen in front of your face. There's really not a whole hell of a lot you can do. The motion sensors are all pretty standard, but their big thing is the controller. Now, I would say Valve doesn't have the best past when it comes to controllers. Their Steam, what was it called? The Steam controller was an abysmal failure. It's just not a good controller. It may have
they tried to do something unique once again. They tried to do something different, and people didn't like the feel of it. The way they didn't enjoy the thumb pads. I think was the biggest thing.
It's just, as Judd's saying, it sucked. I know our friend Lance has got one, and he bought one to play. I think he bought one to use with a Steam Link on his couch or whatever. And he's like, dude, the controller just is garbage. It just doesn't work. It's just not a good controller. So, price wise, is it expensive? Maybe. But in comparison to what these original products were, the HTC Vive was close to $1,000. PH is pointing out that the HTC Vive Pro is $800. But so,
and the thing is what is it about this that's going to be that much of an upgrade from that? That's what I want to see. I want to see, what is the image quality? Have they done something to make it to where it's maybe less dizzying? That would, to me, would be more important. I mean, controllers are important, but what some of the biggest arguments that people have had against these headsets is that people get dizzy. You can only use them for a certain amount of time, and I think that's what they're going to have to get over for this to really be accepted, is somehow get past this. It makes me feel nauseous after playing a certain amount of time.
I think because it is a and the controllers, by the way, is pretty different than Oculus, which is Facebook, and HTC's offerings. The design is very different. I mean, I think you and I have talked about this in the past on the show and off the show. I think VR is going to be the future, and I'm not saying it's going to just change, gaming as the whole, but I think VR is going to have a very significant place in the gaming industry, in the gaming world in the future.
Yeah.
I don't think you can doubt that. I mean, there's a lot of people that have got VR headsets, VR setups, and because Steam is selling this, Brian, that is to me, that would seem to be a very compelling thing to buy from the company that owns the whole damn marketplace for these games.
Yeah.
All these VR games are on Steam, and I think that's very, very interesting.
Well, and one thing that I see in here is they're offering, they say it's moddable. So it is so they're having an expansion slot that you can use to add cameras, add different things to it, which I think is promising, because one of the downsides that I look at with these headsets is once you buy them, that's pretty much what you've got. They haven't really made them totally modular. I mean, the optics are built in and everything, but I think they're going to have to get it to a point where it's cheap enough to where people are willing to, just like a computer, you're not buying one and saying, okay, well, that costs way more than I want. That has to last me 5 years. People are buying them for 2-3 years at a time if they're a gamer. And then, sometimes you'll make it last farther than that. With these headsets, it's hard to justify every 3 years, 4 years buying a new one.
Yeah.
Because you're like, I paid $1,000 for it. I play it maybe once a week, or maybe even once a month.
Yeah.
Why would I go buy another one?
I just because they haven't really released a whole lot about this. There is some limited information on their website about it. But I'll say one thing based off this. By looking at this right here, Brian, you notice that, and for our audio listeners, you notice that there's a cable coming out of the back of the headset. It's about the thickness of a USB cable that would come with a piece of equipment. It's not a really thin USB cable like a super thin phone charger, but one that maybe would come with a printer. It's a decent size USB cable. The big thing about the HTC Vive that a lot of people complain about is that
it's like 3 of them.
Is that they say that you've got the Nexus connected to your head. You've got an HDMI, a power, and an audio jack all tethered to your head, and it's a big clunky thing that gets all kind of thing. Now they do have wireless mods that are available for the HTC Vive. The HTC Pro is got different ways that it handles its cable management. I've tried VR a couple of times at some different events. I've never owned one in-house to, actually experience it. You played it at PAX East.
No, that was Lance.
That was Lance. He did it at PAX East.
Yeah.
I've done it at a couple of local events. There's a guy here locally that has a setup that he brings around to little cons and whatnot. But I think it's very interesting that Valve is again getting back into the hardware market, because they are getting rid of their Steam Link product, which I always thought was very cool.
So they haven't really gotten rid of it though. They pretty much released it free. So the technology behind it.
Yes.
So you can now run those on your phones. You can do Steam Link, the technology behind Steam Link on your devices, rather than having to have a special little box that's doing it for you. Because the technology was there. It was, the Steam Link is just a Linux machine running that application. Your phone is just a Linux. Let's say if you use an Android, it's just a Linux machine, and they can run the application on it. So I think that they've realized, well, okay, that dedicated hardware is not the way to go. But here, one thing that I found interesting is that little cable that has the display port, which is equivalent to an HDMI, and USB 3 connected into it as well, all in that same size cable.
Yeah.
And do you know if the Vive was a USB 3 or it was USB 2? Because I mean, that would be one of those things with technology that I was talking about. Well, but you got to think of throughput.
Well, and it would matter if they were using it for video. Yes, but
exactly, because this one's moddable, it can have a camera in it. So you can attach a camera into the headset. Well, you would want to have, if you're doing something that's high bandwidth, you're saying you're doing a 1080, or you're doing even more than that. You're doing whatever they end up doing with these. You might want to have a lot of bandwidth, and so that's where maybe these old HTCs, if they're USB 2, that would be one thing that with technology, things like that would make a big difference on what you can do with the headset, because you can do USB 3 is so much faster than USB 2.
Yes, I mean that's for sure. So right now we're kind of just limited to some PR shots that are actually all renders. It appears none of them they're all computer generated renders. and we really don't know a whole lot. I mean, it tells you what it comes with. It comes with 2 controllers, the charging cables, 2 base stations, power cables for the base stations, and the headphones and whatnot. But yeah, this is very interesting. Steam taking yet another step into the hardware market.
So why don't they start with, because people play various games on their mobile devices, right? They've got mobile, which isn't crazy graphics, but they almost need to come up with something that's more of a lightweight, like glasses, that isn't crazy with gaming. It's very casual, that if you're sitting in bed or you're sitting on your couch, you can put these on and not have to sit there and stare down at your phone. I just think that would be the first step. That it's like they're skipping all the steps in between and being like, okay, go full hardcore gaming on one of these things, rather than doing something that's as simple as, all right, we're going to just play a simple game on it, get the technology down, figure out you get people used to controllers, and then push them into this. There's not really an in-between device out there.
Now, Google sold that.
I mean,
Google Cardboard. I mean, I know, but that was,
yeah, but that wasn't even that. You had to attach your phone into it.
Yeah.
I mean, that was.
But I mean,
I'm talking about like something that uses wireless. That's just, you put them on and you can see your screen.
I don't know.
It just seems like that would be so much easier. But I think that's maybe in the future when they get that technology down to where it's not a huge block like you're seeing with the current headsets.
Yeah. So so there you go. There's that's kind of interesting news that I wasn't really expecting or hadn't heard anything about. It comes out June 28th, I believe is the date. Pre-orders open tomorrow, so if you're watching live, you can get ready to pre-order. If not, head on over to Steam. What's it? Steam. That's actually valvesoftware.com. Is where the homepage is for this. valvesoftware.com. And yeah, head on over there, check it out, and if you're interested, pick one up. And if you have a VR, I know there's a couple people in our Discord that have VR, and I've talked to them about. But if you've got if you have a VR headset and you use it, get in touch with us. Let us know. Let us know what your thoughts are. I know Jonesy is one person in our group that's got VR, and I've talked to him a little bit about it. But I'd be interested to hear what other people think or are currently doing with VR, because it's clear that there's going to be a real, now with Steam behind this, they clearly think that there's going to be a real push for people trying to play these games. So,
well, I mean, just imagine at the point where they start selling those 360 cameras, because I think that's going to be where this eventually goes as well. Right now we have a camera that sits in front and broadcasts here, but imagine you can put a camera that sits in the perspective of, for instance, where I'm sitting, and you can look around the room, and you could do that rather than just looking at a screen and seeing. I think that those are the type of things that your average person would use, where your average person is not going to use a VR headset. I mean, they're not going to say, "Oh, I want a VR headset." They'll say, "I want to have the camera that lets me look around the room, when I'm hanging out with somebody or talking to them online."
Yeah.
So I think that they just need to figure out those in betweens to get it to where this is a standard technology that everybody wants, but they don't realize that it's this.
True.
Kind of like the Wii. I mean, look at the Wii. The Wii was something that got those controllers like that in everybody's hands, and interactive and doing something different than they had done before. And your grandma had a Wii. I mean, it came down to that. Mm-hmm. And I think that's going to be a difference.
Absolutely.
So and PH is bringing up, they have those 360 streams, and so but that's something that people do a lot of work to get that.
Expensive.
Yeah, people do a lot of work. I think that'll get to where, as common as this webcam is, you'll get it to the point where the 360 cams, those are just as common as our webcams.
Yeah. All right. So that's news from Steam. There'll be a link in our show notes, infectionpodcast.com, if you want to find out more about those units. All right, Brian. Yes. Where to from here, since you're the one in charge? What would you like to talk about?
Well, since we've been talking about Valve a little bit, one thing I did want to mention is that they have reached the 1 billion account marks.
Oh, cool.
And I'm not sure if this, of course, we know that there's lots of accounts that are banned. There's probably lots of duplicate accounts. We don't know how many actual people that would be, but they did on April 28th reach the 1 million, that, they have a thing that your user number.
Yeah.
Reached 1 billion. So that is there's now a 1 billion Steam ID, And so, but that, they really expanded once they went into the Asian market, because if you look before, they had, they had mostly the UK, and then they had the United States. Those were their two major locations that they were at. Now, from the stats of within the last year, Asia has pretty much the exact same proportion as the United States and the Europe. So something definitely changed. I mean, I don't know how quickly. I'd have to see a chart to see how quickly at that point they really shot up as far as opening up to the Asian market more. But it definitely did make a big boost. We saw that with, look at China with H1Z1. It was just, once that market opened up, there was way more people playing it than there were for people from the United States. So good for them. I don't know. We've had our opinions on whether or not we think that's great that China has such a strong influence in not their own market that's totally separate, but it's good for them. I do have a stats page on there. I don't know if you can see on there. It shows some of the various stats from 2012 to 2018.
Mm-hmm.
So the player base, and you can see the United States, North America was almost in 2012 was accounted for almost half. Western Europe was just under that. And then you saw all these other markets where even Asia is just a little section of that.
Yeah.
Equivalent to Latin America at that time. And then you jump forward to 2018, and I would say Asia and Western Europe are pretty close.
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah, definitely. The Western Europe's definitely bigger, but
they're pretty close to the same number. And same thing with North America. North America is not that much more people than either one of those. So that is definitely a good market for them. And they said that they talked about it, that was one of their biggest growths was opening up to the Asian market. So,
yeah, and it makes sense clearly, and it was clearly good for them because they
paid off.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
So, anyways, that was just some interesting Valve news. Kind of tail on that they have reached 1 billion accounts.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about.
I do want to say though,
now.
of course. Well, I was going to say, of course, because we're not allowed to really talk about Valve without
equal opportunity.
Yeah,
here.
well, it's not even the equal opportunity. I mean, Epic does pay us a lot of money to talk about their services and their games. So let's.
Now that we talked about Valve, let's move on to.
We got to talk about Fortnite. Yes,
the bills.
Absolutely. What's going on in Fortnite?
So they got a video here. They released. You know how they were doing themes.
Yeah.
They'll sometimes do movie themes. Yeah. So they have one here. Go ahead and play this really quick. But this is based on a recent movie that has just come out.
Let me see if I can't get this pulled up here. YouTube's being a little bit of a pain. All right, this is for the new Avengers movie.
Yep.
So they're calling it Fortnite Endgame. I do find this very interesting because I can only imagine how much a deal like this costs the Marvel universe to essentially take over the game. They did it with the last one, and I find this very interesting. I mean, the amount of money that Marvel must be spending on this is incomprehensible, I'm sure, to regular people.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a huge marketing. But you got to think, Google pays Apple how 1 billion, I think, to be the main search engine for Apple devices. They pay them 1 billion a year. So I mean, it's all about what the value is for them, and I guess they view that they're making that at least 1 billion back from people, and people being willing to use Google when they go to a computer or anywhere else. I mean, the term is, we'll Google something. It's not, I'm going to search the internet for a topic. I'm going to Google it.
Yeah.
So here they view Fortnite as being in touch with a huge percentage of young kids and people that are going to ask their parents to go to the movies. And so they must view this as because I mean, you can cater to adults, but the adults who care about that Marvel universe have already seen it. They're really marketing to kids here, I think.
Oh, definitely.
So they put out on here, I mean, it's just their patch notes. They have this is a limited time mode end game, and so Thanos and is it Shatari?
Couldn't tell you.
I don't know. I'm sure the guys in the chat will be like, no, it's Kitaryu or something stupid. But invade the battle royale island in search of 6 Infinity Stones. So,
yes.
Of course, you have your heroes, and you have to claim all of these stones. You both of the teams respawn when eliminated until one side completes that objective of getting the 6 stones. And so this will be interesting to see. People, they've been doing these different modes. This, I would assume, it is a limited amount of time. First of all, licensing, they're not going to have this in the game forever, but it seems like they've done kind of a similar mode before. It'd be interesting if they kind of turn this into a regular game mode that just doesn't have these heroes, or have it somehow in a form that's similar to this. That has
I don't think
doesn't
so.
have anything to do with Infinity Stones.
No.
You think this is just going to be these one-off things?
Yeah, they should be, because they can charge these companies oodles of dollars to do these one-time off modes. I think it's genius.
Yeah, and then also they're putting in, for instance, there's a glider that looks like some vehicle, some plane thing that's in the movie. So they're making it to where you can get one of those for gliding in and the initial land.
That's the Avengers plane.
Yep, and then they also have items that are from the movie. So the Black Widow outfit, and I don't know. If that's what you're into, people will buy it. I mean, they realize that they got to come up with all these different ways for people to want to buy these skins, and for people that are fans of this whole universe, they'll throw down whatever money to purchase these.
Now, Judd says, I haven't seen the movie, nor do I want to, but apparently Thor was playing Fortnite in the movie. That's very interesting.
I did hear that.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I heard that that Fortnite was in the movie, and people are like, that doesn't make any sense. It was totally a marketing stunt. So
let's see. I'm going to watch the scene. Oh, yeah. Thor's sitting on a couch with using a PlayStation. You can tell by the colored controller. And yes,
PlayStation paid some money to do that.
Oh, for sure, because you can tell it's the PlayStation controller. I'm not going to play the audio because I don't really want to have to re-upload this show. Yeah, interesting. He's playing Fortnite on PlayStation. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. They absolutely know what their target audience is. And
do you think that there's probably some trade there, because you got to think that is a value for Fortnite, because once again, it's putting the word Fortnite out there. And one concern that people have been having is, it's not so much concern now, but is Apex going to take over Fortnite, or is whatever game going to take over Fortnite?
Yeah.
Well, they're putting it out there as, Fortnite is still the big deal.
Well, and it is.
It's clearly what everybody's playing. And so we're going to throw it in your face and just show you. And what any parent who sees that, they're like, oh yeah, Fortnite's still, the thing. And it's just reaffirming it. So I think it's a smart move on both of their parts. They're both going to make a ton of money from this.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it.
But I think that, other than that, did we show a video of the new, I thought we had shown a video of the new Air Royale for Fortnite.
Oh, we can talk over it if you want to show it.
Yeah, it's because it's just music. But I didn't remember. I remember seeing it, but I don't remember if we had mentioned it. But
I don't think we did.
Okay, so they're having a battle royale with planes.
That's very cool. The planes are super hard.
Yeah, and so this will be one where you can go through and I guess they call it Air Royale. So and this is a limited time mode once again. So they're doing these limited time modes. And I think if they get enough of them, they'll just kind of roll them throughout the year, different events, holidays, and keep people interested. I mean, that's the thing, is you got to keep a lot of variety to where people don't feel like they're doing this. Because what did we run into with all these other games? H1Z1, PUBG. It's just, you're doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm going to run here. And you and we just would run and go sit in a bush and talk and wait for the gas. And it's like, okay, what else are you going to do? And I think they're getting it to where, you're keeping them entertained with, this is something different. Just like we did. I mean, we played Call of Duty, and it was interesting to have some of those extra modes thrown in there.
Yeah.
And it kept us interested longer because we're doing something different. I think it's important for them, especially if you're going to have a product that lasts years. Holding People's being one of the top products in that genre for years, you have to do this stuff constantly.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I haven't played a BR game in quite some time. Just haven't been interested, and really have had no, and I haven't seen, honestly, many people in our Discord playing them either. Yeah, I see still some people are still playing PUBG, a couple people are still playing Apex, and some Fortnite, but overall, people just don't seem to be playing them. So, or at least in our group, it seems like people are maybe, you know, had a little bit too much of the BR thing for right now.
Yeah.
But even Judd is saying
different.
Everything is boring right now. Yeah, Judd, I would agree. I mean, this is kind of the stance that I find myself in. I mean, I've been back on the League of Legends train. We've been playing this Abyss mode where you get assigned a random champion to play as, and there's only one lane, and the games are short. They're like 20 minutes. And I found myself just playing that almost all the time. When not all the time, but when I'm playing games, that's what I'm playing. And as Judd says,
I've been playing Days Gone the last couple of days, but I mean, that's a different style of game. That's a PS4 game. It's not multiplayer. And that's the thing is right now, I find myself falling back to those single player games.
Are you
because
bored?
It's hard with other games.
Are you just bored in gaming in general? I'm kind of bored.
They need, the thing is, because we've hit a point where they're rehashing the same idea in so many different ways, it doesn't feel like there's something really different.
Nothing sexy about any of these games. I mean, it's just they're just all the same. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I think that that's going to be the thing is you're going to have people start pushing the envelope, because right now you have a lot of the AAA companies that have caught up and say, okay, BR is the thing, and now you see we've been BR'd out. There's a time to the development cycle for them to get a game out in that size of a studio. They can't just in 6 months throw a game out there. And so we're receiving all of those. Okay, BR is the hot thing. We're now receiving all of those games that they started developing in the last year, 2 years, 3 years. Well, okay, what are they doing now? That's what I'm more interested in. What are they developing now? Because they have to be looking ahead if they want to be releasing something that is different. Because they can't be releasing and developing, starting right now, more BR games. I mean, it wouldn't make sense. So there's got to be some different kinds of games that are being developed at this moment in anticipation for people wanting something different in the next 2 or 3 years. So that's what I'm more interested in. Days Gone, I mean, it's a good story, but it's very much like The Last of Us, which I really enjoyed The Last of Us. But as far as the going around, so far the story hasn't pulled me as much as The Last of Us, but it's not a different game. They're going to be coming out with The Last of Us 2. I'm sure that's going to be a great game, but it's not going to be anything new. You're going to play through it, and then you probably won't play it anymore. Same thing that ended up happening with Red Dead Redemption 2. People played through the story mode, and they haven't really touched it anymore because the online isn't that good. So
that's an understatement.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing though, is there's got to be something with the game that's online, because it almost needs to be online. It can't be a story game that has a high replay value that's different enough to where people are like, all right, this is what I want. And then all these studios will start developing games in that style, and it'll transition away from BR for a while. And then you might find BRs interesting again when everything isn't a BR. And that is okay, I'm going to play something different. Let's go play a BR. I think at that point, it may be interesting to you, but everything is a BR right now. So why would I bother?
Well,
what's the difference?
I'll continue to say this. I was actually watching some Rust content on YouTube this week, and I'll tell you what, man, these freaking Rust players, boy, they love it. They can't get enough. And you can tell, you can hear it in their voice, you can see it in the video, you can just tell by the enthusiasm of them and their friends. These people are all, and they're not the only game. Ark is the same way. The people that play Ark feel the exact same way. But I just tell you what, Brian, dude, just gaming in general, I don't know what it is. I don't remember this time of the year last year, this thing standing out, but it sucks, man. There's nothing new. I don't have any incentive to play anything.
No, I mean, we have a huge library, and it's like,
talking about first world problems. I mean, seriously. Yeah. I mean, I bought this freaking Nintendo Switch on Black Friday. What a waste. I barely even touched the thing.
Yeah.
Why? Because the games aren't great. I played that Pokemon game. It's a lie.
But look at like Rocket League. Like my wife loves playing Rocket League, and it's a very unique game.
Yeah.
Right. There's not really any other games like it. You almost need those kind of games to where
I was playing some Overwatch over the weekend. Yeah.
Yeah. And Overwatch is another one you play Overwatch, and for the time that you're playing it, you enjoy it. Yeah. But I just find myself like when I go and play Apex, I just don't enjoy it. Personally, even in the Battlefield that we got, or that's not Battlefield. I'm sorry, Call of Duty that we got. I have no desire to launch Battle.net to even launch it. It just doesn't pull me, and I don't know what it is. They're visually they look good, but it's not that feeling of I feel like something amazing is happening when I play it, or I'm getting like pumped and really getting into games with Rocket League. Like my wife and I, you really get into the game. You actually get pissed when you lose. I don't feel that with these other games, with the BR games. It doesn't. I'm just like I'm going to play to a certain point and I die, because most people. There's very few people that with the skill gap actually make it to the end game. So you don't get that rush. I think is part of the problem. Yeah, maybe if you're winning all the time, you would feel like there's a rush and you actually enjoyed it more. But it's pretty tough when there's people that's all they do is play these games, and they're not filtering by skill level or by any kind of a rank. That's part of the issue with BRs. This whole everyone's on an even playing field doesn't make it as much fun for people that are new to a game or don't play it every single day.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting situation, and I'm interested to see what comes out soon. I don't know.
We'll see. I mean, we're coming into summer. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of titles. It's summer. There's titles that release, and then we have the November, pre-Christmas that people release at, trying to get all those, your grandma going out and buying this game for you. So I think that we'll see a couple good titles, especially The Last of Us. Cyberpunk should be interesting. I mean, Cyberpunk might be different.
It might be. Yeah, I agree.
It just depends, but it might be another one of those PS4 style games where you're just playing through a story, and it doesn't. The thing is the technology's there to where things should be more expansive. Judd was bringing up about Mavericks. Mavericks promised to be something that was
revolutionary,
VR, but that next step,
expansive.
Right? But have we seen that? Like I keep hearing scaling back at this point. I mean, not knocking them. I think it's scaled back to more realistic expectations. But I think what people envisioned was something that was, as you said, a revolution.
Well, I don't think people envisioned that. VR. That's how they freaking market.
I mean, the thing is, they kind of pushed that. And I think I said this at the time, if I remember correctly, but they kept saying, well, it's possible for us to do this, right? With the technology, it is possible to do this, this, and this, and this on the server. But our computers can't do this, this, and this. Our internet connections can't do this, this, and this. There's this technology allows this to possibly happen, but that doesn't mean it's actually going to be in the game. And I think they really are making themselves at a big risk when they're sitting there and saying, we can now do this and this, because that's what people are expecting it to be now. Well, the thing is, you can, but the game won't work right for players, your average player, which is then not going to be fun when you're lagging out. I mean, that was my big concern, is that they were promising the world when in the real world, you can't deliver that. On paper, you can. What the technology allows to do this, check all the boxes off, but it's not going to turn around and deliver in the real world. So,
yeah, I don't know, man. I'm kind of down. I'm kind of down in the dumps in terms of the whole, in terms of just video gaming right now. Like I've got Red Dead, just can't be bothered to finish it. I don't know what it is.
I finished it.
Slump.
And the thing is, I can't even tell you because I don't want to. I still can't give spoilers for that. I mean, because most people haven't finished.
Yeah, I mean, you could if you wanted to.
Well, okay, so here's something that's not a spoiler, but one thing that I was hoping for is that when you were done with the story, that it was more opened up to doing like something afterwards.
Yeah.
Right.
Instead of just credits and done.
Yeah, it's something that maybe would give you repeating quests or something to make it to where there was something to do. But I'm just trying not to give away too much, but the repeating quests that they have at the end are so trivial. I mean, it's the equivalent of opening up a phone app and, you know, when you go into Clash of Clans and doing what if you have some sort of daily thing that you gather on whatever mobile game you like to play, and you go in and there's a couple buttons you click, and like that's what you've done, you know, and you're like, okay,
Yeah.
I've done that for today, and I can move on. That's the equivalent of the end game in Red Dead 2, which is highly a missed opportunity. I mean, if you could have done something a little more complex, and with that, I mean, that's the things I don't want to say what the things are, but they're just so minuscule and so pointless that it's like that's what you guys did. I mean, this huge world, you could have let me do more. I mean, you could sell horses, like, but it's not, you know, but you don't need any more money at the end. So like, what are you doing? They should have created a little mini game at the very end that could have just give you something silly to do and kind of keep you busy. But they didn't do that. And so they because they're probably pushing for the online. They wanted the online to be the big thing. Well, that nobody's playing it. It's not fun to play. So I think they just missed that opportunity.
Agreed.
So anyways, what the last Fortnite thing, another musician is suing Fortnite for you know, the saxophone that is the emote, the saxophone, they call it Phone It In. So some guy who does that style of playing and moving his feet, he is suing them, and not for the actual music, but they're saying for so
dude, I'm telling you, I appreciate it, but these are unwinnable lawsuits. They really are.
So he's going for them misappropriation of his identity and likeness. So rather than from the dance move itself, he's saying that he has over all these years branded himself and created, you know, this likeness, this, you know, whatever it is about him, and that they are messing that up, is what they're saying. Which I don't know how in the world you can say that. I mean, if anything, he could capitalize on this. Say, I'm the Fortnite guy, right? I mean, that would be a selling point. Yeah, then rather than he's saying, "Oh, you're messing up." Well, they can't.
Well, they could. Then they'd say you're misrepresenting. Yeah.
But I was saying, you know, like he could, in a meme sort of way, be like, you know,
here's the problem with this stuff.
He can make something from it.
I'm no attorney. I'm no lawyer. I don't pretend to be one, but I will play one here on the podcast. These seem like lawsuits that no judge is realistically going to rule down on. They're nobody's making cases that are, I mean, it's the arguments that everybody's making. Can you see the resemblance? Yes. But I guarantee you that guy playing the saxophone or whatever instrument is being played was not the first guy to do that. He was maybe the first popular guy that did it. But
the thing is, he would have to prove at what point did you create this move, you know, and how did you document it? And you know, I'm sure he didn't sit there and be like, this is going to be my signature move. I've created this. No one else has done this before. You know, he's doing something that he's probably gathered from multiple people over time, seeing different things. No one is really unique in this world, right? And so I think that it's shown over and over again with all these other lawsuits that the courts are not going to go there.
Yeah.
And so they end up just wasting money.
Agreed. So you can, if you want to read about that, you can go ahead.
PH says there's video footage of him doing that live. Yeah. But that doesn't prove that he created it. You know, I mean, somewhere someone was moving their feet like that. They'll find some of their previous instance where somebody moved. They may not be playing the saxophone, but they're moving their feet like that. And then they could say, you know what, you actually stole that from this person. And then he has no case.
Yeah. I've never found, these have never gone anywhere, and they will continue to not go anywhere. They're ridiculous.
Which is fine. I mean, you don't want people, at what point do you stop that? I kind of liken this to, in Monty Python, they have the Ministry of Silly Walks. Have you ever seen that?
No.
Okay, so this guy in Monty Python, he walks in a silly ways, and so he's just kind of he's strutting and doing weird things. Well, are you going to say that no one can ever walk in those ways? They're just silly walks. But you know what they did? They did record it on TV and they broadcast it and they showed, something that you can't sue people because they imitate a walk, right? So I think that there's you can find this and say, okay, well, that probably is him. But at what point do you stop saying, okay, this is not copying someone else? You'll get to the point where you're not allowed to do anything. I mean, eventually it'll inch its way to that point to where you just can't.
Yeah, likewise. I agree with you on that. So, all right. Well, then we got that. If you want to read more about it, you can head on over to our website, infectionpodcast.com, and read all about it. All right, let's do some actual gaming news here. We haven't talked about really any games. Let's talk about Atlas. We've been talking about them the past couple weeks and some of the things that they're working on. We've got a couple new updates. If I pull up here, it looks like from last week, what has changed dramatically? Nothing.
It seemed like it was a lot of patches, fixes.
Yeah,
I mean, they did the big update in the last couple of weeks.
Yes, but just between last week's show and this week's show, they fixed creature drift on ships, meaning the creatures would move around on ships for clients on users' ends. Fixed an issue where creatures could disappear or erroneously die, which would be a problem. In some cases, when moved onto ships, this is part of that earlier issue, re-enabled move to ship functionality for officials. So there's some issues with that. Added cooldowns to activate or reset red alert state, which I don't remember what the red alert state is off the top of my head. That may have something to do with the rating system. Fixed an issue where crew melee swings on ships couldn't hit their targets. Red alert temporarily disabled on official servers while they're investigating some stability issues with it. Moving on over to 100.
Do you think that's like when you're capturing an area? You remember we would try to capture someone else's area, and it would send the flag up? I wonder if that has something to do with it.
Yeah, I don't.
The notification of that.
I'm not sure. So 102.4 fixed a server crash, and then they re-enabled the red alert area on the official servers. And then 102.45 fixed an issue where tames couldn't be given move onto ship points that were outside of the bounds of the ship or nearly outside. Fixed an issue where tames could potentially fall endlessly and drown when moving onto ships. So clearly, we've seen here that moving creatures onto ships is a problem, and it's because the object is interacting and colliding with the water, and there's a lot of complications in that.
It's difficult with a moving object like that to have all these things on it. I mean, there's some technology behind that.
So that's this is pretty common in games. Fall through the ship, fall through the world. This isn't the craziest thing, but they've spent the last 3 patches really working on these drifts and things like that. And that is Atlas. We'll cover the current players here a little bit closer towards the end of the program, but that is Atlas.
Very good. So let's talk really quick about some Arma news.
Oh, okay.
Because we discussed that they were doing that. It was a creators DLC where it was a lot of mods from the community, pretty much, that they brought in here. Well, they showed a video from one of them. So the DLC Global Mobilization, they have a video here showing what it looks like. So you can actually play it with sound because there's music, but there's talking as well.
Okay. So
it's not in English, but there is talking.
Okay, well then I'm not going to play it. So for our audio listeners.
Well, but it's the whole theme, so they can hear what it's about, because at least part of it.
Okay.
So it's based in Germany.
Gotcha.
Right during the Cold War. So the whole theme behind this song is, and the feeling of it is the music style. Because at first I was listening to this and I was like, why in the world are they going to play this song? The music style is what would have been during the Cold War, during the 80s.
Okay.
So we can play. I mean, just going to play a minute of it so you can hear.
Yep.
There you go. So It's a lot of that. Other than that, it's Arma, but it has a theme. It has a big map. This is the biggest map that they've done.
So I'm sorry, what is this? So I'm not really following you. This is a map. This is a mod. This is a game
So
mode.
this is Global Mobilization Cold War Germany.
Gotcha.
So it includes a really big Germany map.
Okay.
And it's got, of course, themes of things from that time of the Cold War. So the 80s. It's an 80s Cold War Germany feel and look and gear.
Okay, cool.
They have a bunch of guns or weapons and vehicles and all these things from that style. So
you can see the little
and they also have
the little
what was it?
The little punch buggy is on the road. That's very cool.
Oh yeah. So yeah, that's the thing, is that it's all themed to be what would have been during that time. So it adds a lot for the modding community. I mean, this is a huge thing for the modding community that they now have this giant map. They have a lot of new assets to work with. I think this is smart of them to do to keep that kind of alive and going forward. So
how much is this?
So this currently is $20.69.
Okay, so pretty typically priced with an Arma mod.
Yeah, but the thing is the map. I'm trying to find where that size was, but it's bigger than any of their other maps that they've done yet. Okay. So that's and it's made by the community. So I was told that by Donnie that this one is actually more stable than the ones made by Arma themselves. So the community actually takes the time and really puts a lot into it, and they're not just throwing together a map. So this one's supposed to be really good performance, and it's bigger. It comes with 17 new multiplayer scenarios, 10 missions for single player. So it's got East and West Germany for the clothing styles, 21 weapons in both of those styles. It's got civilians, 42 different vehicles in there in variants. So a lot of stuff. And this it's a 419 square kilometer of usable area map.
It's a very big map.
So it's a huge map. So it's the largest one that they've released, and it's of Weferlingen, whatever that is, Weferlingen, Germany.
Oh, that type of beer? I'm not.
Well, it sounds like it. Yeah, Weffenheiser or whatever. Yeah, this is a Weferlingen.
Okay.
So,
all right. Well, cool.
But it's got 50 fully destructible settlements, kind of like, but that was similar to what some of the other armor ones. So if you take a tank around, you can blow up all the buildings.
It does have mixed reviews. It says really good mod, terrible DLC. That's just the first one I'm reading.
And that's the thing is, I don't know how much of it's going to be for the way that Arma put it together, but the modding community is going to take it, buy it, and use it to death.
I think this is a good idea to support the creators' work of the modders and Bohemian Interactive Studios. But first, the DLC isn't really finished. The map has some graphical bugs. So it's a 50-50 split right now on Steam in terms of the reviews of it. But like you said, most people are going to screw with this anyway. So as long as
they'll go through and modify them and make them their own.
The graphics don't look great though.
It's Arma. That's the thing.
But I mean, this looks awful. This looks like a PlayStation 2 game.
Yeah, but
Arma does look better
Arma
than
engine.
This. But Arma does look better than this. They're doing something. Yeah, it does. It absolutely does. This looks good. This looks like garbage.
Part of it would be the modeling. Being this is a community project, they're if they're wanting everything to mix and match, they're probably lowering. They probably have some guys on the team that have a really high level of modeling ability. But the thing is, you can't make everything at that level because the other half of your team won't be able to make models. So they probably said, all right, here's the level of quality that we're going to do, and that's what they're making it at. So it is probably a little less than what Arma itself can handle.
Oh, it's definitely less. I mean, I've played enough Arma. This looks like garbage.
It looks like they're going for low poly because you can see edges and squares on things that you normally wouldn't see them.
Yeah. Now, PH is saying that he said that it looks like Arma 2 graphics. So this could have been something that maybe was being worked on in the Arma 2 era, and it's taken them so freaking long to do it that
actually get the whole thing together.
Yeah. So who knows? I mean, that's probably not the case. But first, I mean, when we were watching the trailer, I was like, boy, they're running this on a real bad computer or something, because it just did not look very good in terms of just the
detail level of the models is the main thing. Yep. But whatever. I mean, this is their creators. it's hard for them to really expect a really high level of detail from something that they're pretty much taking from the community and giving a 50-50 split on. So we'll see.
Yeah, even there's a lot of.
I mean, how much longer can they squeeze things out of Arma? I mean, there's got to be a point when they either come out with something new.
Yeah, but I mean, Arma's a very popular game. There's a lot of people that play.
It's popular, but it's really reaching the limit of its.
I'll tell you this: it's been out. This DLC's been out less than a day, and it's already got 400 reviews on Steam. Just the reviews, and most people don't leave reviews. So I mean, they've sold thousands of thousands of copies of this in a day. So clearly there's not a
people
problem.
Play it.
Yeah, absolutely, people are playing it. No doubt about it.
But I was saying is at some point, it would be really good for Bohemia to come out and release an updated engine. But this is a lot of work to make something that's this moddable and has all these features. But they're going to only be able to run this along for so long. I mean, there's got to be a point when a new thing comes out that lets people do this.
Yeah, this version of Arma came out in 2013, so it is going on 6 years old.
Yeah, which in the gaming world is old. The grandpa.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what games are you playing right now from 2013? H1Z1 is from 2013.
Yeah, which doesn't really seem like that long ago when you put it in those terms.
But it was. I mean, you're talking. This is a long time ago, dude.
Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, it's hard. Bohemia is working on a lot of other projects, and so they're not. I haven't heard anything about a new Arma. I mean, they did DayZ, which was kind of a mediocre reception. Then they've got all these kind of weird like Wylands, which I played. It's interesting.
They're the publisher of DayZ. I don't believe they're actually developing.
But Bohemia is actually working on Wylands, if I remember correctly.
They are working.
But I'm saying they're kind of working on other things. And the DayZ, they were working on that engine.
That is true. Yeah, it is. I mean, they do own
DayZ. They are the developer of DayZ. They're the developer of Wylands. But you don't really hear anything about Arma 4. And I'm sure they're doing something, but I haven't heard. You don't hear anything about Arma 4, and it should be about the time that they start hinting at Arma 4 is going to be out, or is announced.
Yeah.
So it's just strange that you wouldn't hear a hint about it. So, but we'll see. All right. Another one that I wanted to kind of mention is that Planetside, since we were talking about H1Z1, they've been having a lot of bugs from that DirectX 11 update they did.
Okay.
So of course, this runs on the Forge Lite engine, and H1Z1 it was DirectX 9 the whole time, if I remember correctly, right?
I don't remember.
I don't remember them having DirectX 11 support.
I don't remember, but it's not impossible that they updated it and we just forgot.
Yeah, I don't remember them having DirectX 11 in H1Z1, but they've added to the Forge Lite engine, being able to do DirectX 11, and someone here posted 200 bugs. And this is just somebody posting it. They posted a list of 200 bugs in one Reddit post.
Jesus.
And so there's definitely some issues going on, and who knows? I mean,
wow.
It just, how much testing did they do of this? I mean, because a lot of people
of Daybreak.
Yeah. It's just kind of weird. You put something out there that has so many problems. Of course, you could still run DirectX 9. You can hit the drop down box. So it's not like people can't play the game, but this is definitely not ready for public playing. I mean, they're pretty much beta testing DirectX 11 on them.
PH says they have more bugs than players.
Maybe. Maybe.
Technically not true, but we'll say true for the matter of the conversation. Yeah, that's atrocious.
Yeah. I mean, it's just crazy that it was that unstable. So, things like the mouse gets stuck on the screen. There's nothing you can do. Like, you can't move the mouse. Like, it's just a lot of stuff is happening with the UI. So, but it is a major rework. I mean, these guys, Forge Lite, as I was saying, I don't think there's any other DirectX 11 in there before. So this is a big change, but honestly, they just need to leave Forge Light behind, accept it, and move on, because obviously they're struggling with their limited number of developers they have now to maintain this, because this is so buggy. It's it would be unplayable to play it on DirectX 11.
Oh, I would agree. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. So yeah, that's interesting. This is a cool post. I like how he did this, because clearly that he's there must have been an original post that said, put your what he said is send me your bugs, and he attributed the bugs to individual users. Well, I think we did this at one point, did we not? I think we did something like this.
We compiled a list of bugs
with H1Z1. I think we published it. I think we put it on Reddit. I think we did something very similar to this, and it was effective when we did it.
I don't think it was 200, but
no, it wasn't 200. But we were like, hey, if you know of a bug, if you're dealing with a bug, tell us what the bug is, and we're going to put together a list. So there you go.
And that would seem like that was the only way that you sometimes get Daybreak to respond.
I mean, as a developer, I couldn't imagine having this thrown on my desk. I'd be pissed.
But I mean, they had to have expected it.
I don't disagree with you, but I'm saying, could you imagine being like, oh my God, 200? 200?
Yeah. But the thing is, you should have a list like this. They should have an issue tracker, which they did for H1Z, and if you remember, that they ignored. Yeah. But there's an issue tracker where you prioritize all these bugs, and you figure out, okay, here's the most important one. Let's start knocking them out. The problem is they look at this and they're like, oh, there's too many.
Well, because it's all coming in one big dump. That's the issue. Like,
now they're going to have to sit there and categorize them and go through all this work to sort out which ones are fake, which ones are anomalies.
Yeah.
Which, who knows how many of these are actual real bugs? How many are duplicates and people are having the same problem but seeing it in different ways? There's a lot of stuff. So,
yeah.
And then Nintendo had some news. I know you're talking about your Switch and how much you love it.
Yep. Big fan.
But this is actually Switch news. There's a video that you could play. I would cut out before the last 10 seconds though, because he says some curse word in his name and whatever as a shout out.
Apparently Amir Rajan has bundled a Ruby interpreter into the eShop game A Dark Room.
Let's stop. A Ruby interpreter being...
Okay, you want Ruby interpreter?
Yeah, like a Ruby on Rails interpreter?
A compiler. Yes, so you could write code inside of this game with the interpreter that it brings up and create your own little applications inside of the Switch. Which is not malicious.
I'm not sure what this
could be malicious, though.
I would highly recommend that any Switch owners who are on a console that is not exploitable,
maybe.
Absolutely.
Purchase this game. It's fairly cheap. It seems to be some sort of text-based adventure. But what I noticed is that, according to his instructions, this is legit. If you go ahead and connect a keyboard, and then I forget what the name of the button is. I think it's like the tilde button. If you press the tilde button,
oh man,
it opens up a Ruby interpreter. Now I'm not really too sure what this can lead to, but
all right, well we'll stop there. Yeah, that's
that's the main info. Yeah.
This happened. I remember on the iPhone. I had an iPhone 3GS. I was like hot stuff back in middle school. I the iPhone 3GS. I was a cool kid on the block. Everybody's hanging out with their Razors, their Motorola Razor, and their their HP Palm Pre, all that other fun stuff. And I'm like, hey, baby, here's my iPhone 3GS. And there was like a game that did something very similar, where there was some type of some interpreter or some programming that you was able to get access to whatever on the phone because of this. And
and that opens up the door to jailbreaking in a way. I mean, in iPhone's terms, it creates a way that people can possibly get around DRM and various things that they've locked down on these devices, because they truly don't want to treat them like a computer. They want to limit so that you can't install your own games. You can't do all these other things on them. You have to do it through their market. And so this was something that they saw, and it must have been against the terms of service because they removed it from this.
I wonder if
it is no longer on there. I don't know if it forces an uninstall.
No way. Can't. There's definitely.
But this guy in his video is saying, "Go get this now before they remove it."
Yeah, I don't know what you do though. I mean, what do you really want to write Ruby on your
But the thing is, it
Switch?
would let you execute. It would let you execute code from inside, not from outside the environment, right? So you're actually able to do some things, and it's viewed as legitimate code coming from an application inside of the device that I guess they don't want you doing. I don't understand the I understand the limitations more on a phone of what they're trying to limit you from doing. I'm not sure what the limitations are on a Switch that they're actually trying to prevent you from doing on this. So it is interesting, you know, what people, now that it's out there, but I don't know, because they took it off the store, I don't know if that delegitimizes it as far as what it can do. You know, how's this different from manually installing any kind of application on the Switch at that point?
Here's some guy
Or is the fact that you have this, you can now install other apps on it.
Here's some guy that drew hello in Ruby, it appears, with some drawing some radials.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean,
the thing is, it's like it's a shell that you could sit there and program and do different things. I mean, it's a cool hack tool. I don't know why they would have removed it unless they were concerned that somehow it would allow people to do something they're not supposed to.
Yeah, I mean, you're not I'm sure you can't publish a game and then have a backdoor and that interprets.
But couldn't you make a game that's pretty much based on programming? I mean, where's their limitation? I mean, why are they saying this is not acceptable unless it's some sort of a risk to them? Yeah, you could create a game that lets you program. Teach kids to program, and it would have an interpreter in there.
Yeah.
So maybe he just did because they viewed he was doing as malicious, or I mean, they could have been the terms of service of he put out a product that has something in it that wasn't advertised. Right? It may come down to that simple of if you would have released a programming game that's teaching kids to program and had an interpreter in there, they download it expecting that to be what it is.
So I'm reading through a little bit more. He said that the guy that made it told Eurogamer that he purposely hobbled the code editor to the point that all it can do is draw lines, squares, create labels, play sounds from the game, and detect button presses. You can't even, this is a quote from him, you can't even render an image with the damn thing. So, but nevertheless, the point is he snuck it in, and that's going to piss Nintendo off. This guy
he didn't have, because the thing is, he has to tell them when they do a code review, here's what the app does, here's what it is, and somehow because he had simplified it that much, and obviously they didn't look at the code that closely, because all of this, a whole interpreter was in there, you know, there it is. So they took it down, but he had after the fact had highlighted it. It would have been nicer if he would have left as an Easter egg, let people find it themselves.
Yeah,
Instead, he said, "Go to my game. It has this," and it's kind of a way of him selling.
Make some cash.
Something else. Yeah, I'm sure. Do you think they're actually going to pay him now? I mean,
I'm sure they have to. Well, maybe not. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, he broke terms of service from what it seems.
True.
So
interesting. Cool.
So, anyways, that popped up this week. So,
all right.
Nintendo Switch news.
All right, I've got my thought on Game of the Week, Brian. I've been pinged, and I'm being recommended that we play the League of Legends Abyss mode. We can play it against each other if we'd like, and that's a 5v5.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking we do that for Game of the Week. That's just my thought. I'm down for whatever though.
I'm no good at League of Legends, but I'm willing to play.
It's fun. We'll have a good time with it. Will you join us?
Yep, I'll join you if you play League of Legends.
Okay, awesome.
I'll have to install it again.
Well, fortunately, you've got good internet, so that shouldn't be a problem for you. So join us for that Friday night. It'll be in our Discord server. You can find all the links, all the information on our website, infectionpodcast.com. Mr. Aldridge, do you have a game giveaway?
Yes. Let me pull it up. So let's go ahead and move on to something else.
Let's do the Rust video real quick. There's a short little Rust video, and I believe the title of this one is like the fastest load of faster looting, and then some new concept art that is being shown off. So this is from Shadowfrax, and it is a quick Rust update.
Greetings, survivors and friends. Shadowfrax here, and first of all, as you can probably hear, I'm feeling a lot better than last week now, so thanks for all your well wishes. I don't actually remember making the previous update vid, so hopefully I behaved myself. I kind of wish I'd had this week's news to cover last week, as it doesn't look like a lot was done over the past few days, but there's still some things, and that's better than no things, I suppose. For a start, right-click looting is now a lot faster on staging, and here's a comparison for you to get excited about. Also, external gate and wall crafting times have been reduced across the board. They all used to take 180 seconds of pain. Now they only take 60. There was a slight recoil reduction on the M39, which is best illustrated here, and first-person traces are smaller when zoomed in. For instance, this is how they look through a 16x scope. SAM sites also had an adjustment to their LODs to make them visible from further away. Just remember, all of these changes are only on staging at the moment, and you'll have to wait until 2nd of May to feel the sweet, sweet benefits. In works in progress, as I think I mentioned last week, sewers and caves are being relit with a lot more varied and mood-enhancing lighting, and although there isn't that much to show so far, this image snuck out showing some of what you might expect to be greeted by in a cave system as of the next patch, hopefully. The giant excavator seems to have a lot of its textures now, which, as you can see, mostly consist of rust, which is absolutely fine, of course. Unfortunately, this one doesn't look like it'll be playable until June's patch, but stay tuned and I'll see if I can dig up a few more shots between now and then. And finally, the team are still working on jamming the latest version of Unity into Rust's backend, which may or may not be ready for May, but I should definitely be able to tell you one way or the other next week. Right, well, what can I say? By me making up a load of pie in the sky, that's it for this week, and I guess it's time for you to lovingly discipline the like and subscribe buttons. Also, do make sure you've got notifications on, as I've got something a bit special for you in about a week's time. What could it be? I guess you'll have to tune in and find out. You can keep up to date with my content on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, Discord, and my Steam group. I shall catch you all soon, but in the meantime, keep calm and stay rusty. Cheerio!
All right, quick little update there from Shadowfrax. Some more possible items objects rather added to the game, and some other stuff. So cool stuff over there at the Rust. I didn't realize the game is. That's the first time I've heard the word Unity used in. I didn't realize it's not a Unity game though, is it?
No, yeah,
it is. It's full
game.
Unity.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of shows you the
power
varying amount that what you see from Unity, because a lot of times you'll see side scroller games, you'll see 2D games, you'll see all kinds of different things, but Rust is on Unity.
Every picture video I've ever seen, I never even thought to look, because
it doesn't have that it doesn't have that
a Unity look. When you look,
I mean, if you look kind of closely, you can see some things that it's not Unreal, and I can see that, but you don't see a lot of Unity games that have that exact look. So
yes, it's very well, and I guess that's good, right? If people can't look at your game, and I mean, you can look at games and be like Unity, and
the main thing is the kind of fuzzy look, and the way that they do that is probably the only indicator, is the main indicator you would see that it's Unity.
That's neat
compared to Unreal. Unreal just doesn't do it the exact same way. So. All right, so exclamation point giveaway in chat, and I'm going to be giving away a copy of Late Shift. And this is a game that has currently it's mostly positive and very positive for all reviews. It is a choices matter, choose your own adventure style game. So there's a lot of good ratings on it, and it's one that you can play through and change the story, but it's kind of like one of those films, that you go through and actually change the ending, similar to what they've been doing on Netflix lately. So
great reviews.
Check it out. Yeah, a lot of people really like it, so it probably has a really good story. So if you're interested in that, exclamation point giveaway, and then we'll give it away before the end of the show.
And if you aren't here live, you should be. We're here live most Tuesdays here on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/infection podcast. Yes, we do. I think I don't foresee any shows for the near future that will not be on a Tuesday. So we're here every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern. You can join us in the Twitch chat, give us your feedback. We always love having people in the chat hanging out and watching the program along with us. So, all right, let's see. So we covered Rust, we covered Atlas.
Well, there's one bigger story.
Okay.
So there is this thing called ShadowHammer,
Okay.
and this is pretty much an attack that happened, and it was a supply chain attack. But the odd thing
What's that mean?
is so. Well, let me get the exact term because I don't want to mess up what it is. But there's some indicators that it's linked to the gaming industry, and that is kind of odd because I'm not sure exactly what these have to do with what this attack is. Like, for instance, these certificates and things used in it are linked somehow to the game. Remember Infestation Survivor Stories?
I don't, but it sounds familiar.
Yeah, if you saw screenshots, you would recognize it.
Okay.
There was just these companies that are somehow tied to these attacks. Now, a supply chain attack is a cyber attack that seeks to damage an organization by targeting less secure elements in the supply network.
Oh, Infestation Survivor Stories is War Z.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I played I played the hell out of War Z when that first came out. Oh no, this is awful.
So they had done something with ASUS in their supply chain, and they said that they found that other samples that are used similar algorithms. The samples were used to digitally sign binaries from 3 other Asian vendors. The Survivor Stories it was Electronics Extreme, which are the authors of War Z and the Survivor Stories. So, and then Innovative Extremists, a company that provides web and IT infrastructure services in the game development world, and then Zepeto, which is a South Korean company that developed the video game Point Blank. So, and it's just kind of strange that they're using that somehow these are all tied together, these companies, that they had signed these certificates, so that they had signed this code with the same signatures, the same digital signature that these 3 things were signed with. So somehow they're linked.
Well,
and I don't understand why they would be.
So what's the goal with something like this? I mean, I think
most people. Here's an
can...
example of where it happened.
Okay, yeah.
CCleaner.
Yeah.
Remember, CCleaner?
Of course.
So someone had infiltrated that company and had actually replaced the client that people were downloading.
Yeah,
they had gotten inside and actually were able to digitally sign the CCleaner client and make it look like it was totally legitimate.
They were
actually downloading a virus version.
That's what it was. If you had it installed, you were fine. But if you went to CCleaner's website and installed an updated version of it, you were getting a bad version you were getting a hacked version of the software, essentially. Yeah.
Yeah, and that is the whole supply chain of you get yourself in there to where you're actually in the process. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're putting yourself. They had gotten themselves to where they were actually generating and putting the client, the cleaner client that people are downloading, and it was in a legitimate place, and it looked totally legitimate. No one could tell the difference.
Wow.
They'd gotten themselves that deeply into it, and are actually signing the code legitimately. But that's the thing, is because they signed the code, it has to track somewhere, and somehow it tracks back to War Z and these other. It's someone in the game development industry that is doing this somehow, and it's over in Asia, so most likely it's something in China that's happening here, right?
And this is coming from Kaspersky, which is the Kaspersky Lab, which is a very well-known antivirus, and they do these types of security audits, is what I'll call them. So this is a reputable source that this is coming from.
And so pretty much, through all this, they've got these valid certificates, because when you write code, you have to sign the code to show that it's legitimately your code. And so you generally, just like a website, have a certificate that you sign it with that can say, I am the one that compiled and is delivering this code to you. They can track it back. It's a way to verify. Well, somehow this group has gotten these certificates. They've gotten these valid certificates. They're able to sign code, and unless you dig into the code, you can't tell that it's fake. It's not popping up an error saying, how Windows will pop up, saying, do you want to make an exception for running this program? It's not doing that because it's showing as a legitimately signed piece of code. And so it's really causing an issue because they're able to put themselves into these places and do things that normally would be detected by an antivirus type of software. So it's interesting. I don't know. I mean, it's still unfolding. I don't know what it has to do with those companies, but it is interesting that it's these games that we have heard about are somehow tied into it, and that digital signature is linked somehow to those games. So
gotcha.
We will see what happens. Just kind of an interesting,
very interesting
turn of events. So, and then also we got, I mean, Elite Dangerous has a big event that they're doing right now. Do you remember when they had that one where everybody was going to be pretty much flying across the universe?
Yeah. Eve does this too, where they do these like big, massive events. Yeah,
so they're doing some sort of big event, and they're going to do another one of these because they like to do these every once in a while with Elite Dangerous. But they're doing the Interstellar Initiative, and actually they have a video. If you could play that, because he describes, they're very good about always having talking in their video if it's going to be something they're explaining to you. So do that, and then they're going to actually explain what the event is.
Let me get this pulled up here. Okay, this is Elite Dangerous.
Greetings, Commanders. Out there, across 3 different floors, are loads of exceptionally talented artists, developers, sound engineers, testers, and more, all creating and contributing to the galaxy of Elite Dangerous. Back in March, we announced our plans for the future of Elite Dangerous, and the team are hard at work on the next major milestone, as well as a host of updates that are coming to you this year and beyond. But today, I wanted to talk to you about something a little extra that's coming to Elite Dangerous. All new interstellar initiatives. We've always said blaze your own trail, and every time you as a community have continued to blow us away with what has been achieved. With Distant Worlds, we've seen thousands of commanders embark on a journey across the stars. There's been the creation of the Fuel Rats, a selfless group of saviours and Samaritans, and wings of commanders who have rallied behind their groups to be crowned winners of the Dangerous Games. There's been all this and more. It's because of the amazing things that our community do every day in Elite Dangerous that we've been inspired to enhance our weekly community goals and events. We're adding more curated experiences and narratives supported by a development team. So what are interstellar initiatives? Well, there are a series of in-game events that play out over the course of around a month. Each one will feature several phases that will evolve as the narrative progresses, ending with a conclusion that has lasting effects on the galaxy. This could be a permanent change to a system, the introduction of a new module or synthesis recipe, or, perhaps more drastically, alter the very structure of the galaxy's superpowers. We've got a bunch of tools and systems that we can use to create and engineer these stories. Temporary changes to star systems, new scenarios and community goals, all of which will be utilised to create dynamic, time-specific events. This will be your chance to be part of the history of Elite Dangerous, shaping the future of the game's galaxy. We're going to be running more of the interstellar initiatives throughout the year, and I personally cannot wait to see how all of you get involved. And without further ado, let's take a look at the first interstellar initiative. But spoilers ahead, so stop watching now if you want to wait and see how the story unfolds.
We want to show this, Brian?
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Oh, you want to show the whole thing? Okay.
Well, yeah, it'll be fine.
Okay.
Even before Ramtar's endeavour to learn more about the Guardians was a thing, other groups have been keeping keen eyes on the leftovers of this ancient race. Whether that's to delve deeper into the struggles they faced against the Thargoids, or to tap into the power possessed by their mysterious technology. Bridging the gap begins with the arrival of the corporation Zende Partners. Ambitiously, they seek to gain the support of freelance commanders in helping them harvest technology from Guardian sites dotted around the fringes of human space. With your help, Zende Partners will facilitate the creation of a permanent megaship ferry. This will travel to a location voted for by independent commanders. In doing so, their hope is to excavate as many relics and technology as they can, making it easier for you to gather Guardian materials now and in the future. Guardian excavation is about to get very lucrative for relic hunters and pirates alike, but these won't be the only ones with a vested interest in these sites. As the event unfolds, numerous parties will seek to profit from this mad rush for Guardian technology. With the presence of a rival corporation looking to muscle in, how will these interests affect the event? And what will they be willing to do with that technology to gain your support? So that's our first Interstellar initiative, a narrative centered on the Guardians and their technology. We'll have more Interstellar initiatives in the near future, and these will touch on other aspects and areas of the game. So there'll be something for everyone, be you a pirate, political activist, or cargo hauling space trucker. Keep an eye on future transmissions for more information and to see how these stories will unfold. See you in the black, Commanders.
All right, cool little video there from the folks over at Elite Dangerous. Very well done.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see. I think this is important for a game like this, where, first of all, it's so vast that how do you really change it other than people going to new areas? I mean, you can add new areas.
Yeah.
And that's difficult for them to do and keep up with, because you don't want everybody going to the same place on a game like this. You want to be able to kind of spread it out, because if you add one new area to this whole galaxy, everybody's going to be going to that one place. And so here, I think that with them doing these events, they can kind of control it, control the flow, have some new information. And this is really for those hardcore players. This is something for them. You have to be pretty advanced. You have to have a nice ship a lot of times to go out to these places. But there are a lot of people that are really into Elite Dangerous, and this is kind of a thing that's specifically for them, that it encourages them to play over a period of time, which is kind of fun. Get all your friends playing at once,
and a struggle for them, because I mean you got a player base, but as you said, Brian, you kind of just do the same thing. So this is this is the incentive that you always talk about.
PAX a couple years ago is when this whole Thargoid thing started to unfold, and I asked one of their main developers, I said, can we talk about the aliens? Because there was no one knew about the aliens at that time. Like, we saw hints of it, like stuff was starting to come out, and he was like, I'm not going to talk about it.
What aliens? I think it's something.
What aliens or whatever. And so I think that now they've unfolded that story. I think they've done a good job of really trying to make this follow some sort of a theme, and have a story and a place where the universe is at that then progresses as people play and things happen. And they're really trying, and I think this is them trying to continue that. And other games don't really do this. WoW does it. I mean, they have a huge world. They try to progress the world. But it's easy when you can kind of reinvent and break everything and make everybody start over. I don't think people want to do that in Elite Dangerous.
No, I would say that's probably not.
So I think this is probably one of the better ways they can do it. It'll be interesting to see PH brings up Star Citizen. You keep hearing about Star Citizen. This is kind of like the Star Citizen Lite, but will Star Citizen really be able to do much more than this? I mean, we keep seeing video, but I don't know. It's hard to compete in this kind of, when you have such a huge world where you can't go into detail as much into one place.
I'll tell you this. I could care less. I could not care less about Star Citizen. That game has done nothing but mislead people, in my opinion. And I just don't know how you compare it. It's not out.
I just get nervous about ones that are really trying to sell you a high-priced virtual item.
Yeah, like a ship that if you don't have an insurance
policy
on,
thousands and thousands of dollars.
Yeah, and if you don't have insurance,
real life money,
and if you're not paying a monthly insurance fee on it, and it blows up and you lose it, you lose it. Hello.
Well, I mean, it's kind of a similar. Remember that? Was it Ring of Elysia? What was the one?
Oh, you're talking about the medieval one?
Yeah, is it
Chronicles of
Illyria? There we go. So Chronicles of Illyria is a very similar thing, to where they're not really releasing the game. They keep saying, okay, well, you can buy into things that you're going to get once your game comes out, right? And that's the same thing that they've been doing with Star Citizen, is you're buying for when the game does finally release. You're buying all these things, so you'll have all this stuff in the game, and that just makes me nervous when they're coming up with ways to continue pulling money, large amounts of money out of people in anticipation of what will happen, not what there is, but of what will happen. Because I mean, it's kind of, in my eyes, I'm not not saying I didn't know anything, but it feels like a scam does. There was a guy I knew who was buying all of the Iraqi money, right shortly after the war,
Really?
because people kept pushing that, oh, they're going to reinitialize the whatever that dollar is, and it's going to become worth all this money. So people were shipping hundreds of pounds of just the cash to the United States and selling it to people for ridiculous money because it was going to become value. And the guy was trying to get me into it, and I'm just like, yeah, denaries or dinars. Yeah, dinars is what it was. Thanks, Judd. And it's like, okay, this was all them promoting and pushing. It was a scam. They were never going to, it was not going to be what they were promising it to be. And they knew it. It gives me the same feeling when I hear people talk about these games of, oh, it's going to be. Whenever I hear that, it makes me nervous.
$224 million have been raised by RSI. I'm just sorry. I don't believe they can produce a game. I don't believe that having $200 million is going to help them better produce the game.
Well, okay, over this period of time, though, that's the thing that makes me nervous.
Yeah,
is
since
you can have a
2012.
large studio that makes a game with that amount of money, but you know what? They'll do it in a certain amount of time, and knowing their budget, and they're going to release it, right? And they've spent every penny of that in a wise way. When you stretch it since 2012, there's so much wasted money and overhead.
Absolutely.
That they're not delivering a game like from Rockstar, where if you hear however many millions and millions they spent at Rockstar, you know what? That was well spent money.
Yeah,
but concise. They got it. They probably did it as cheaply as they could at that price.
Yeah, but the point is,
I just don't think it's being done well.
The point would, and I don't know this to be the fact, but it's just always something that when you take a company like Rockstar or Bethesda, they timeline the project. I mean, when is Star Citizen coming out?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It'll extend and keep draining the money because it costs a certain amount to however many people they have employed. The longer you stretch it out, the less you're getting out of that money, because you're just then employing people to be employed.
Their last goal was $65 million. So where did we go from 65 to 224?
Yeah. And that's what I don't think they're going to be able to deliver. And by the time they deliver, it's not going to be some groundbreaking game anymore. There's other games that will do it.
Yeah, I don't know. I want the damn game to come out. Yeah, I know they have an issue track. I know they have a tracker where they show they're individual entities. When is the freaking game going to be released? 2022?
I mean, they're showing version 3.9.0 will be in Q1 of 2020.
But that's not a playable game.
No.
It's still not the full game.
But that's not even really, that's just saying we're going to have, they're making some changes to AI. So they're adding some dynamic missions. That's adding things to it. Multi-crew will be in 2020. It's all scheduled too. So we'll see. They're adding some new ships.
I don't know how you could storyboard something out like that. That just seems unrealistic. Whatever.
We'll see. We'll see in 2020, Q1, 1 year from now.
Yeah.
We'll see what they actually have out, because there is no, okay, we're going to be releasing at this point.
It's just
4.0. It's not saying 4.0's official release. It's
just frustrating because I've heard it. I get it. I know, but where's the game?
What I think is funny is that in Q1 of 2020, they have it scheduled to implement a new first-person weapon. Okay, I mean, great. You're scheduling out a first-person weapon in Q1 of 2020. It's just weird that they've drawn it out that much, rather than saying we're going to have these core features put in there. They're throwing in random weapons throughout this whole process. Like, they're just adding things. It's more, I get the vibe of they're stretching it as long as they can, because when you say, all right, in this quarter, we're going to release a gun. In this quarter, we're going to release another gun. Well, why aren't you releasing a whole series of basing it on the technology of we implemented the ability to do these guns, and we're then putting all these types of guns into the game?
Yeah.
No, they're saying they're piecing in things here and there for content which is what you should be doing after you've released, not in the alpha stage when you're still developing the game. So it's kind of frustrating.
Very much so. Yeah.
But I've had no interest. I enjoyed Elite Dangerous, but I have no interest in playing at the moment Star Citizen unless they deliver something that's truly amazing. I mean, maybe they're the rock star of space games and we just don't realize it yet.
Yeah, which is
But
again very possible.
If they do, then great, I'll buy it. But I don't get the vibe from that of it taking them this long to come to the point of they're still piecemealing features into it.
Yeah, I agree.
So, all right. Do you have a preference on which one we talk about here next? Do you have?
No, whatever works for you.
So let's talk about Skyrim and
yes,
and something is
version?
happening here. Well, there was a fan-funded Skyrim multiplayer mod that was being made, and there was a big, I guess, stir that happened because they were using code from the Skyrim script extender mod without permission. And so they had made this mod. There was all this code in there from that. They got found out, got pointed out. And so they've been removing that code now from this mod. That code took up about 25% of the whole project. So they've been just going through there and systematically removing it so that there will no longer be that code. The issue is now they're kind of mad at the community and saying, we don't owe the community anything. And so because of them taking so much flack and everybody being mad at them, they said, we're making this for us. We don't even have to, we may make it and not even release it to you guys. So it'd be interesting. I don't know. They just said the community has been so toxic that they've been considering giving up or just continuing but never releasing it. So that is the state of the
community. Is toxic. What?
Well, the issue is when they say we don't owe the community anything. The issue is they are receiving $18,000 per month on Patreon to develop this.
Huh.
So when you say we don't owe the community anything, actually you do. I mean, you're receiving $18,000 a month to make a mod
for Skyrim.
Yeah, if you make it and don't release it, I mean, that's I don't know what their Patreon is promising, but that would be a big problem, and I would expect some lawsuits at that point because there's a lot of money going into that company. Many studios wish they had
lawsuits. You're never going to get because it's Patreon. But I would just say this, Brian.
Well, it depends what they're promising on Patreon.
True, but
I mean, I'd have to look at their tiers and see what they're really saying.
I would say
they could also, but they could get sued for fraud.
Well, okay, that may be one. Yeah, who the
they're
hell's
making money off of someone else's work.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. But I would just say this, and I don't know these guys. I don't back the project, but this is a word to the wise about all this stuff. We talked about it with Kickstarter and Indiegogo, and Brian, I know you're working on some stuff, but with Patreon, it's the same thing. I mean, it is a gamble in some regards when you're doing this stuff. I mean,
yep.
It's just what it is. Now, these guys saying this, these guys appear to be scumbags based on what you've just read. But
the way that they're just totally saying we don't owe you guys anything. We may make it and never release it. I mean, that's just very spiteful.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I'm not. People absolutely should be pissed off if they've been funding this thing and then the developers are like, well, go pound sand. But I will say this is a word to the wise. You got to be careful with it. These aren't legitimate businesses. A Kickstarter starting up, or an Indiegogo, or no, not Indiegogo. What else do games do besides Kickstarter? There's another funding platform that's for just video games. You just got to watch out with that stuff.
I don't know which one is.
You just got to watch out for that stuff. You've just got to be careful. And Patreons, you're not the same thing with Patreon. I know plenty of Patreons that I've looked at and I've read what people think about it, and they say, hey, you know, the Patreon's good, but they're supposed to do this thing, you know, twice a month, and sometimes they only do it once. Sometimes they don't do it at all.
Yep.
And that's
people like to overpromise and underdeliver. The thing is if you say you're going to do something, just do that. If you don't think you can do it, don't promise it. And
well, I'd agree, but
that's the issue with a lot of these.
Exactly. And a lot of it is just you as the consumer need to, as PH saying, it's pretty much a donation. Yeah, that's what it is. It's like donating on PayPal it's like donating to a Twitch streamer. And then you say, then they don't stream, and you call Twitch and you say, I want my money back. That's just not how it works. I mean, it's not how it works. So these guys are scamming people, is from what it sounds like. And especially
when they use 25% of another project's code and then started building, getting people to give money based on that. I think that was the biggest issue people had with them.
My question would be is, why are these people still funding it? There's 18,000 people funding this thing. Why?
Well, it'll be interesting to see at what point, if this goes down, now that this has happened, will people start unfunding? Because I mean, those go in 1 month chunks, right? So if this news pretty much exploded in the last month, these Patreons go 1 month at a time. The new Patreon month starts tomorrow. So it'll be interesting to see tomorrow how many patrons they have.
Yeah.
How many chose not to continue.
I love what they say. You know how you can tell something is a scam right off the bat? What does the money actually pay for? Here are a few costs that we have to handle. Dedicated servers. Okay, that's a legitimate cost. Domain name. $8 a year through most name providers. SSL certificates, now completely free with Let's Encrypt. If it's not free, it's something like $15 to maybe $30 a year through somebody like Komodo or whoever the SSL provider may be. Computers, okay. Computers aren't that expensive. You can get a computer for $1,000. And then hackathons, where they fly people in and rent hotels. So 3 of the 5 things on that list are BS.
Yeah.
And 2 of them are, and really is only one of them, dedicated servers. So, I mean, you as a consumer need to be able to make
they're buying themselves computers, plane tickets to things that they want to go to.
But domain names? I mean, the fact that if you, I'm sorry, I don't know anybody that funds this, but if you're stupid enough to fund something and they're saying that the money is paying for domain names, how many domain names do they have? What the hell? What?
One. It says domain name. It's the one domain name.
One domain
name. $8.
Okay, and you can buy web hosting for a domain. Well, if you've already got dedicated servers, you don't need to buy web hosting. You just spin up a web server on your dedicated servers that you're purchasing. Sorry, but I mean, come on, use some common sense.
Yeah.
SSL certificates.
They should be able to handle that.
I mean,
well, how long has this been going though? When did this start? I wonder.
I have no freaking idea.
It's better be a pretty old project for them to be listing those things.
April of 2018 is the first post.
Okay, so then they have no excuse. I was gonna say, if this has been there for like 6 years that they've been.
We should do this. Let's do a Patreon. We'll start it for next week, and we'll say podcast hosting, my electricity here, Brian, your electricity, our internet connections, hair and makeup before each show. I don't know. Let's just make up some things. This Powerade was 78 cents on sale at Walmart. This is a high dollar item.
Yeah, we need to purchase overlay graphics licenses.
I mean, come on. I understand if you're the consumer and you feel like you're getting screwed, but use some freaking common sense before you back something. This show, our trip out to Seattle is not exclusively, a large part of it is funded by listeners. The hotels and stuff is covered. Everybody gets out there themselves. If we said, hey guys, the cost is covering my Airbnb to the airport and Cheez-Its at the snack bar and a $9 beers, you'd be like, what the hell is wrong with you?
Yeah.
That's what these people are doing. And they're not the only ones. I mean, but there are plenty of these Kickstarters and Patreons and Indiegogos that
they're
do
trying
this
to
crap.
justify. They think if they put this on the list, that people who don't know any better, will think, oh, they have to buy all this stuff. When really it should be one thing on the list.
Subscribe to our Patreon so I can drink $16 White Russians at the Seattle-Tacoma airport next year when I get in at 9:30 local time before everybody else. Give us Twitch Prime subscriptions. I need White Russians at the airport. Thank you.
Well,
That's my White Russians a drink, by the way, for everybody that isn't playing along at home. So, yes, please give us your Twitch Prime subscriptions. I need them.
yeah, and they'll all go to Nick's drinks.
Yes, my drinks at the airport.
So yeah. Anyways, I thought that was interesting that these developers. I mean, really, it's not good to talk like that to a Patreon that is pretty much paying for you in all these ways. I mean, how many people? I don't know how many people they have on the team. They just say we're a team of software engineers, but I don't see where they say how many people they're actually supporting. Because I mean, if you had a team of 20 people, $18,000 a month, that'd still be $1,000 each, right? I mean, to do almost $2,000 each.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Or if you have a team, like if you had 20, that'd be $1,000 each. If you had a team of 10, that's still a decent amount of money per month. And I doubt they're doing this full time.
That's true. Yeah. No, you're right.
I mean, really, are they could have rewritten the whole thing if they have a large team of people.
Yeah. Well, there you go. What are you going to do?
I don't know. Just avoid it.
Yeah, seriously. Just use your head. I mean, that's all. Use your head.
All right. And then another thing this is in Europe with net neutrality.
Okay.
They are now selling, actually, no, this is, let's see, Cox. So this is, sorry, not in Europe. This is in the United States. They are launching a game optimized internet. So now you can get internet that has 34% less lag, 55% fewer ping spikes, and 45% less jitter compared to the average internet connection.
Whoa, Brian, the jitter on the connection here is just all over. It's all over the place.
Well, why aren't they offering this service to everybody? Why is it that they're able to give certain connections
this is bullshit.
This much better?
They're not going to be able to back up. Brian, how the hell are you and I able to have this conversation right now? What we're doing right now is way more intense than what any video game is doing.
Yeah, but I mean, they're mostly concerned about ping times.
Well, that's a big deal for what we're doing. We're
game.
having a conversation. Our ping time, I would say, is more important than what they're doing. And I mean, our round trip ping right now is less. Our round trip ping right now is 53 milliseconds.
Yeah.
And you're sending me video at almost 3 megabits a second. Way more intensive than any video game ever.
And it's less about the throughput. I mean, that's the thing is a video game where they want to be a competitive gamer is when they want to have a 5 millisecond or less.
But connection. How can they can't provide that?
Well, Cox can't. Fiber could.
Yeah, but I don't see how they're going to, unless they're literally going to roll out and run a different cable to your house. How can they provide this? That's
what I don't understand is how are they promising this when they couldn't offer it to everyone else? Like, is it that they're using not as good hardware? Are they cheaping out on the actual hardware around? I just don't understand how they can give it to one guy in a house when they can't provide it to everybody.
So PH is saying that they bought the company WT Fast, which is a cloud, which I don't know if it's a cloud streaming service, but it is a gaming service.
It's pretty much like a VPN in a way. This thing is it routes you through their data centers, which supposedly has a faster connection to the game servers.
I don't buy it.
Than a direct. I never understood. Yeah, PH says it's a VPN that lowers your ping. I've never understood how it's actually lowering the response rate going over a VPN. If anything, because I remember Barbie was using this and she's like, it makes my pings better. I think that it gives you the perception of making your pings better for some of it, because you can prioritize traffic It could be that they have a really good low latency connection. You're connecting to them directly, and you maybe won't get routed in a weird way over the internet.
Okay, yeah, that makes
sometimes.
sense. Yeah, I can
That's
see
possible.
Yep.
I don't see how they can guarantee it though. They're saying you will have a 34% better, or they're giving you specific numbers of less lag.
Yeah, this is a I can speak in the past from things like this. When they make specific claims like that, they are lining themselves up to fall into a class action lawsuit. Because when
they're saying they give you the optimized path to a game server.
Okay, that's actually valid. That makes sense. But how can you use a number like 34%?
You don't know, because you don't know what my path is in the first place. You can't say that I'm going to get 34% less lag because you don't know that I have the most inefficient path.
It's an average. That 34 is the average.
They're saying it will offer 34% less lag.
Yes, that's an average number. It's so
yeah, but they're not saying average. They're not telling people that. People think that when they buy this service, they're going to get 30%, 4% less lag.
I will say, if you're stupid enough to purchase this and think that you're gonna, I mean, come on.
If you have a bad internet connection, this is not going to solve it.
You think
it's still relying on you connecting to somewhere with a decent connection.
You think when you're flying, you know what? It'd be a great test for this. Actually, let's do this for new Patreon goal. We buy this service through, well, actually no, because Cox is not a wireless provider.
But the thing is, we get you with WT Fast. You could,
let's do this.
Get subscribed to WT Fast.
This is what I'm going to do. This is Patreon goal. I need a plane ticket because on internet airplanes, the Wi-Fi is like 700 milliseconds, and then I'll use WT Fast, and we'll see how much better my gaming experience.
We'll see how much if it's 34% less lag.
Yeah, I need where should I go? Well, let's pick this out. Where am I going to go?
Come to Boise.
Okay, great idea. So yes, we'll do a Patreon. I'll fly to Boise on a plane that's got Delta flight, hopefully, that's got internet, and we'll use WT Fast, which I'll also need you to donate to, so I can pay for that. And then I'll test my game on the way there. I'll test it with WT Fast. On the way back, I'll test it on the regular 6. Oh, and I need to pay for the internet in the plane too, which will be like $30 each way. So yes, please donate, please, to help for the ongoing expenses.
Tech Zone says he's flying tomorrow. So
I think he's going overseas, I believe. So that
let's see if they can on the fly over the international flight. They need to be redirecting me to the correct servers.
I'm sorry if you fall for no, I can't handle this.
Oh, he's going to Florida.
Yeah, well, okay. I'm kind of right.
So this service is $15 a month. For people that were wondering.
That's crazy. Well,
for optimized paths, it's pretty much a VPN, gaming VPN. Which, I mean, if they could really back it up, but this is not a fix your internet. It may even it out. It may make some inconsistencies go away. But this is not a fix-all situation. This is not going to it's not going to make you competitive if you don't have a great connection.
Yeah, and then that's kind of the thing is you would use this as PH is saying IGN gave it an 8 out of 10. Yeah, exactly. If you have a serious internet problem, this is not a solution to it. I'm gonna have to read through IGN's review.
Yeah, I've heard about WT Fast and I've always doubted it in the past. And
that's not how networking works.
It's not how the internet works. I mean, the internet can be inconsistent, but you know what? It isn't always. And I can go on fiber and have really good consistent connections to servers.
So here's a quote.
So that's not the internet.
Here's a quote from the IGN review. Next, I ran 2 tests using Overwatch without WT Fast. I had a ping of 301 milliseconds when I connected to the game servers in its America region. When I routed the game through WT Fast and let it choose the best server connection, my ping dropped to 43 milliseconds.
Okay, do you want to know why, though? Most likely. It's because it's pinging the WT Fast data center.
Bingo.
It's not then routing it to you at your house. It's pinging their IP. I mean, maybe it just depends how they're doing the test.
But there's no way that using this VPN service would cut 250 milliseconds round trip off of your ping. That is literally impossible.
No. Well, unless he just has a really lousily set up somehow. His ISP is just horrible.
No, that's a possible. If you have a small regional, I'd say
but
this.
it's still
Brian,
routing traffic to this WT Fast data center.
Here's the thing I'd say. If you have a
if it's in their data center, that would make a difference.
If you are having if you have a small community ISP, something like WT Fast might actually be useful because they don't necessarily have maybe the same peering agreements as everybody else. But if you're with a big provider like a Spectrum or a Comcast or a Cox or an Optimum or who do you have out there?
Cable One.
Or Cable One, big providers, probably not an issue. Small little co-op, this may actually help you in some ways, but it's still bullshit.
Well, this is the whole net neutrality thing that people were concerned about. But
how is this net neutrality?
Being able to buy a better connection to the internet, being able to buy not just as far as speed, but as far as you're buying one that somehow is prioritized. That's the thing that it comes down to, that people will yell net neutrality about, is you are buying prioritized internet when it's supposed to be equal and open. Everyone has the same access. You can have a faster connection to that, but once you get onto the internet, you're on the internet. It's no longer in your hands at that point. And they're saying, okay, well, you can now buy this prioritized traffic that somehow magically connects from that internet connection point to another data center more quickly.
I don't know.
I mean, this is what they said was going to happen. It's still not 100% there.
But are
they actually making something different? Are they actually getting prioritized traffic on the internet to the game servers?
If all they are doing is charging you for WT Fast, which it sounds like what they're doing, how is this any different than just buying WT Fast regularly?
No.
There's no actual prioritization.
Well, unless they're running something in the data center, which would just give you a little bit better connection to. I mean, if they're doing this somewhere closer to you, where it's pretty much in the network of this ISP, that could be a little bit of a improvement, right? Because you're connecting directly to that.
How is that net neutrality?
That's what it comes down to, is at that point, how is WT Fast actually providing anything better?
They're not.
They claim they are.
Yeah, they're providing.
They claim that they have a better connection to the game servers. How are they doing it?
Which they might, but that doesn't make your connection any better, because you still have to get to WT Fast.
Are they saying they're prioritized? Okay, how is it different when you're connecting inside of that internal ISP network? When you're connecting out to the internet, how are they getting a better connection through the WT Fast when they're connecting to the same? Sorry, this is the exact same place. Thank you. They're connecting to this connection point for their ISP. How is one getting prioritized over the other? That's what I want to know.
The world may never know.
There shouldn't be any way that they could prioritize it any higher. It should be they're getting out to the internet, unless they are just mapping out the optimal path to those servers beforehand and saying, we are going to go along this path. Well, then they just need to have, that's an internet problem. It just need to be optimized. That is all they can promise. We have optimized the path. That's all they can promise. They can't.
Well, that's all this
promise
is.
you anything else.
That's why they're using the terminology like.
But they're selling it as less jitter.
Well, yes, and if it's an optimal path, ideally there would be less jitter. But what if one of the hops you're going through has got a problem?
They can't guarantee it though. That's
no, because they don't own the hops.
They can't guarantee that path is always good. It's going over the internet at that point.
I know. I mean, this is why I don't understand. I don't even know why we're talking about this. This is stupid. It doesn't make any sense.
No, it's crazy that they're advertising it as fast.
They're going to end up in a class action lawsuit if they're claiming these services. And I mean, Spectrum and Old Time Warner Cable is going through this right now in the state of New York. The Attorney General threatened to throw them out of the state for this same thing. Talking about providing speeds to customers that they weren't providing. They almost got thrown out of the state. They have to pay millions and millions of dollars to the customers of the state of New York and to the state of New York for something that essentially you could say is very similar to this, making claims that they weren't able to provide.
Which I think that enough people would be able to say, all right, I've subscribed to this service, and I think they'll be able to show before and afters that don't match what they're promising.
Well, IGN,
or
who's clearly
claiming.
getting paid to do an interview, said write a
Yeah,
review.
I mean, they're-
250 milliseconds ping. I don't understand.
Yeah, but we know. Okay.
Yes, we're running long.
Yeah.
Okay, so there you go. Internet service, net neutrality. Cox is offering a gaming service plan. They're calling it Elite Gamer. So there you go.
Well, okay. Yeah. So if you feel like you want to waste some money, you could always either subscribe to Nick's Patreon,
Hey,
or we can go to WT Fast.
it's our
so
Patreon. I'd just like to say
Okay.
for the record.
Our Patreon. So as far as some updates that came out, Apex, one thing that they did say, we don't need to go into the details of it, but they said they want to stick to a seasonal updates, because mostly, just to shorten down the whole article, is their development cycle that they do use isn't made to do weekly updates like Fortnite is. They're not set up to do that. They're not going to try to push out things that aren't ready. So they're doing these seasonal updates because that's the kind of development that they do. So just keep that in mind. If you're getting mad that you're not seeing an update every week, there most likely will never be an update from Apex every week. Sea of Thieves, they put out their 2.0. We haven't really talked about Sea of Thieves that much. They're on the Microsoft Store, but they put out their 2.0, which adds some new game modes and features. Also, we have Ring of Elysium, who only put out 2 updates this week. Normally, they put out like 6 in a week's time span. But it could be that over in Asia, there's some sort of a holiday or something going on. That could be very likely. And they're doing maintenance at the moment was one of theirs, and then fixes. They have a training mode that they made adjustments to, and a pirate carnival. So some new things there, new weapons. So they have added some new things to the game, and then some skins that they're doing. So the Black Death put out their 0.37. Rocket League put out 1.62. And so if you're into Rocket League, mostly this is a fixes patch, because they put out a content update last time with 1.6, and now they're doing fixes to that in the new season, last patch as well. We don't have time. I have another one that I'll talk about next week. That was just an interesting story that had happened to me. I've been on Twitch. I've been watching game dev streams, people streaming game development, and just had a story about someone I ran into that was a pretty interesting story. So I'll talk about it next week.
Very cool. Alrighty. Okay, I think that's about it. So
I think that's pretty much all the notes that I can think of.
Excellent. All right. Well, if you don't have anything else, let's hop over to current players. That work for you?
Yep. Very good.
All right. Well, here are some games and people that are playing them, I guess. Currently playing Ark Survival Evolved, 31,042, your 24-hour peak, 43,148, with a 7-day peak of 55,112. Moving on over to Rust. Currently playing 28,794, the 24-hour peak, 37,759, 54,400 is your 7-day peak. How about PUBG? Currently playing 155,467, 825,897 is the 24-hour peak, with a 7-day peak of 829,876. And finally, Ol Atlas. Currently playing 6,733, the 24-hour peak, 8,862, and the 7-day peak, 11,560. So they are, on their 7-day peak, they are about 30,000 players short of the number that they talk about, which is 40,000 concurrent players all on the same server, existing in the same ecosystem, the same world. They've got 11,000 people peak over a 7-day time. So,
and over multiple zones,
over
which means
4
multiple
servers
of those big clusters.
Yeah, 4 total.
That is that is a big issue. They're gonna have to figure out how to turn that around. because how are they going to offer all these different game modes, PvE, PvP in Europe, in America, and justify all those, because they've made something that requires so many servers to run, and they're not filling a fraction of those servers. Either they're going to have to bite the bullet and accept that they've kind of lost and start cutting back this world that they're advertising, or there's not very many ways around it. I mean, people will complain if they merge zones, make the Europeans play in America or make America play on European. I don't see an easy way for them to get around this.
I don't know, dude.
I mean, they're in a place where they've designed a system that is just so inefficient and costs so much money to run.
Well, I mean, if people aren't playing the game, it will cease to exist. I mean, that's just the reality of it. So,
yep. So, yeah. Well, anyways. All right. So we ready for tip of the week?
Yes, sir.
All right. Tip of the week, where we go through and either I'll give a general gaming tip or one for a specific game. And this week, we'll talk about a little bit about Elite Dangerous. So this will be tip of the week. Yep. So in Elite Dangerous, maybe you want to participate in some of these upcoming campaigns that they're having. One of the most important things that you'll run into is that you need money. Money is something that makes a huge difference in this universe because it determines what kind of ship you have. You'll start out with a very low-end ship, and you'll have to come up with ways to make money to upgrade that ship. You'll upgrade different aspects, like the drive on it, the frame drive, and the guns, and a whole bunch of different things with the ship itself. But then there's other ships that have more cargo space, more modules that you can add on to those. So this is something that you're going to have to figure out. If I want to be able to get to a certain place in the universe, what kind of a ship is it going to take for me to get there? So if you're looking at the fastest ways to earn money, trading is an excellent way to do it. But you're going to have to invest in a frame drive that has the ability to make those long jumps. They've really done a good job in Elite Dangerous of balancing out, okay, if I want to go this far, which will give me this sort of a return on the investment of this jump, I need to be able to do this long of a jump. And they make it just where your drive that is kind of the more beginner ones just don't have the ability to go there. So you have to end up taking 100 hops to get around to the same spot. So make sure if you're going to take a look at some of the economy apps that they have, because you need to map out, because you can aimlessly wander around the universe trying to find a better price. So you'll go buy one thing in one place, and if you don't know, you'll fly to another place, and you know what? It may be worth less money, and you'll end up wasting all of your gas and never ending up at a place that actually gives you more money. You'll sell it, and you'll sell it at a loss. But they have some nice apps that you can get, for instance, on the Google Play Store. If you have a tablet that you want to have next to your computer, that you can see the live, what the prices are at different star clusters around you. You can go use something like TradePad. They have databases online. If you go to eddb.io, and a number of PC apps that you can use, and those will show you, if you buy a specific resource in one place, what's the closest resource location that I can go to and take those and sell them for a profit. And that's a really good way to upgrade your ships, get that money together to where then you'll actually be able to participate in that end game content, because you cannot do it in the beginner ships. You need to upgrade to a more powerful, bigger ship that actually has the ability to get away from your home cluster. So that is tip of the week.
All righty. Thank you very much, Brian. Appreciate it.
Yes, and that's pretty much what we did. I mean, we've got some pretty nice ships in Elite Dangerous now, and we just figured out, how can we make money?
You know,
we did a grind.
I've got a couple things. I'm up against a wall here. I'm facing a wall. And I've got a couple things tacked up on my wall. I've got a picture of the state of North Carolina with all of the counties listed out. I've got some different time zone conversions, and I've got my Elite Dangerous keyboard shortcut. I've got three things up here on the wall, And that's what it is. I can look up and I can see all three of these things at any point. And that's because I played it for one weekend and I tacked it up on the wall, and it has been there ever since.
The game is really fun, but it's one of those for those dedicated hardcore people.
It is.
You have to be into it, and I enjoy playing it, but it's a struggle because it's so vast to play it all the time. So, but if you're into it, we were hitting kind of the end of not of seeing everything, but we had did such a hard grind that we had actually got some really good ships. You know, so like I know Green Man, we were getting close to getting like the top ships that you could get in the game. I think I'm like within one or two of the top ship. And so I don't recommend that everybody go and get the best ship. Get a good ship and then start exploring, because what we did is we did the wrong thing. And I just kept on doing run after run after run, burn myself out. Sure, I have one of the best ships, but then I didn't have a desire to turn around and go and fly somewhere, with it.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, I burned myself out because I've been doing so many of the same run between these two clusters because this is the most amount of money I can get. And I did on 100 times. Well, then I was done. So make sure you don't burn yourself out. Get it to where you can get a ship that can take you somewhere else and then start flying around, exploring and having fun, because you'll burn yourself out if you just say, I want to get the top ship that they have. You won't want to fly it anymore once you get to that point.
Agreed.
So,
all right. Roll our winner here.
Okay, let me get the right window up here. So let's go ahead and close this and draw. Congratulations, Valp won.
Yeah, there we go.
You have won, and I will send you a key for late shift. So if you win one of these games and you enjoy it, make sure you let us know so that we can mark it down, maybe recommend it for other people to play. But if you played through one and say, hey, that was a really good game, just tell us. So it'll help us know what is good. And because I don't know if I always trust the Steam reviews. They seem to sometimes be way off.
Yes. Please do let us know.
Yep. All right. Is there anything else we need to discuss before we roll on out of here?
No, sir. League of Legends is coming up Friday night. Hopefully you'll join us for that. We'll play some of the we're not going to do probably won't do normal blinds. We'll do the Abyss mode, which is a very quick single lane random champion kind of mode. A lot of fun. We'll have a good time with it. So hopefully you'll join us for that.
Very good. All right. Well, if you want to find me at Boise Computer on Twitter or my blog biteoftech.com, and make sure you go check out our website, infectionpodcast.com. And on the right-hand side there, the upper right, we have a link for our Discord server. And that's a really good place so you can go to submit news throughout the week, to hang out, to chat. We also have our Steam group for notifications before the live show starts. So make sure you do that. And so if you happen to be sitting at your computer at the time when we're getting ready to do one, you can jump in here and join us live. We have our YouTube channel, our Twitch channel on there, and then all the show notes for our previous shows. And so check it out and join us next week. Sorry, my voice is going out.
Brian's
got this.
Brian's losing it right here at the end of the show.
All right, there we go. I just had to one little quick cough.
This is what you get for going for 2.5 hours. I mean, this is what happens.
I know.
Alrighty. Yes. And what about your YouTube channel? Come on, why are you not promoting?
Oh yes. I don't know. I feel weird about promoting myself. So if you want to check that out, I actually put a link. So my last post on biteoftech.com has a link to my YouTube channel. So you can join there, and my Discord for that specific thing. So if you want to come and join and talk about game development, if you have questions, if you're working on game development, it's a really good place to hang out and discuss those things. We have a lot of developers from various games that we talk about as well that have been joining us in there. So it's been a lot of fun. And it's for people it's not to come in and talk about games. It's talk about game development itself. So that's the kind of community it is.
Very cool. Yes. Check that out. There's a link to Brian's channel in our show notes, Infection Podcast, or just search Brian Aldridge. You'll notice him because he's got a verified check mark on his channel. So don't worry. There won't be no fake Brian Aldridge flying around YouTube. Unless
it's that comedian who knows who that guy is.
Is there a comedian under the same name?
There's a comedian, and he owned BrianAldridge.com, and then he let it expire, and I was pissed. I was like, you let it go to some domain buyer, and now I can't get it. If you're not going to, it's like I tried to get it, and some random comedian has it, and now some domain buying service has it. It's like, you jerk.
Well, donate
Just
to our,
let it go.
donate to our Patreon for domain costs. We're gonna buy.
Yeah,
I
it
need
only
to
cost me like $1,300
Hey,
to buy my name.
Mine's $1,100, so we need about $2,500. We'll buy each other our .com domains. So please donate to our Patreon, please. Thank you, Brian. We'll see you next week. Alrighty, folks. Yep, League of Legends coming up Friday night. Hopefully, you'll join us for that. If you're not here live, you should be. We're live every Tuesday night. We have a pre-show. We play some music. We talk. We chat. And then we'll have a quick little post-show here as we are going on almost 2.5 hours of doing a show. So hopefully you join us. Thanks to everybody that has joined us and continues to join us live. Well, my name is Nick Craig. You can follow me on Twitter at Nicholas M. Craig. If you missed any portion of the show, want to look at any of the videos, the images, the links, all of that can be found on our website. It is infectionpodcast.com. Have a great week, everybody. See you next time.